Well, dear God, ladies and gentlemen, kind of expecting this game to be a shootout. You're expecting it being a high-scoring contest. The two, I want to say, bottom five defenses in the NFL lining up against each other. And I'm not going to lie, no idea that Justin Fields was going to go this nuclear. I could have never guessed DJ Moore was going to have the best game of his entire NFL career. So damn exciting if you went through and started the Chicago Bears. We have a ton of impacts, both on the Chicago side as well on the Washington side. I don't know where we want to start this off at. Let me know in the live chat. Are you wanted to talk about the Bears or you wanted to talk about Washington first off? You know what? Actually, we probably should go ahead and probably mention Washington as we wait for some more people to get in here because we'll save the best for last. If you were looking at the Washington Commanders, they were never really in this game. Now, of course, as a person who's been talking down on Justin Fields for the past few years, I mean, I was sitting there in halftime going, please, Sam Howell, turn it around. I mean, he did come out in the second half. He looked fine, right? I mean, he did go, and he was just getting hit nonstop. Sam Howell had the league lead in sacks taken going into this game, and I haven't seen the updated stat, but I'm sure, yes, he's at the very top of the NFL in sacks so far. He's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage pretty much every single drop back, it seemed. I mean, the man was tough as nails. He's actually going through and actually taking some of those hits behind the line of scrimmage and at least surviving, which you like to see. At least surviving, which you like. Now, with Sam Howell, he did just have to throw the ball 45 times because they trailed from the second that this game started to the second that this game ended. If you were looking at the rushing numbers, Antonio Gibson does not log a single carry. Does it matter? No. They had 6 total rushing attempts if you just look at Brian Robinson so far this game. I mean, so really it was just drop back, drop back, drop back. And if we were looking at the target volume, Logan Thomas is damn good. We did not have Logan Thomas inside our top 12 tight ends this week. Looks like that was a massive L. And y'all know we drafted so many underdog best ball teams. I mean, Logan Thomas was available in every single draft in the 18th round. I don't know if I ever saw someone took him. I drafted over 400 teams on underdog this offseason. Did not take Logan Thomas a single time. Logan Thomas, 11 targets, 9 receptions, 77 receiving yards, and the receiving touchdown. Logan Thomas looks like he has an argument to be made to be that borderline top 12 tight end going forward. Keep in mind, you had 45 passing attempts from Sam Howell. I don't necessarily know if that'll be the case going forward. Antonio Gibson, had the receiving volume. Brian Robinson actually had 4 targets, 4 receptions, 33 receiving yards. Brian Robinson, more than 6.5 receiving yards, did hit on Underdog Fantasy. Dotson is cuttable. Dotson only has 5 targets. Logan Thomas has more. Antonio Gibson has more. Curtis Samuel has more. Terry McLaurin does nothing. Y'all know I'm not really a Terry McLaurin guy. It's a wide receiver that's never been a top 20 wide receiver from a points per game perspective. Really, in Washington, nobody looks viable outside of maybe what you have with Brian Robinson in a game where this team is leading. But obviously, if they're trailing the entire time, you're not going to be able to really start anybody outside of a random Terry McLaurin spike week in best ball every once in a while. Now, the team that we need to talk a lot about will be the Chicago Bears. We are expecting this to be a good matchup. The Bears crushed last week against the worst defense in the NFL in the Denver Broncos. We looked at the Washington Commanders, and the Washington Commanders, I believe, were 4th worst in the NFL in points allowed going into this contest. So we are saying that Justin Fields, Khalil Herbert, and DJ Moore were going to be on the sell high radar after this game, which we'll talk about that in just one second. And honestly, you're going to hate me for saying it. But nonetheless, Justin Fields goes out there and absolutely crushes. You can't really look at the rushing statistics for the running backs here just because you had the Khalil Herbert injury. Roschon Johnson went down with a concussion. Honestly, the running backs here in Chicago may not be viable going forward because even if these guys are healthy, then you may get Deonta Foreman coming in. Now, let's look at DJ Moore. Let's look at Justin Fields. Justin Fields, 4 passing touchdowns, 282 passing yards, and 57 rushing yards. If you look at what Justin Fields has done this season going into this week, against the Packers, he had 216 passing yards off of 37 attempts. Against the Bucs, 211 passing yards off of 29 attempts. Against the Chiefs, 99 passing yards off of 22 attempts. He also really was not running the ball in any of those contests outside of maybe the Packers game. So if you were looking at what we have had with Justin Fields going into this contest and going into the last 2 weeks, Justin Fields did nothing at all in the first 3 weeks. And then going up against the Denver Broncos, blow-up game, 4 passing touchdowns, 335 passing yards. This game as well against another bottom 5 defense, 4 passing touchdowns, 282 passing yards. And Justin Fields has been an elite quarterback over the past 2 weeks in fantasy football. And if you started him, you've been freaking pumped. Now, with that being said, as we were saying going into this game, expecting a big Justin Fields performance and marking it on our calendar as a reminder that he could potentially be a sell-high candidate if we are able to get to those top 3 quarterbacks. I still stand by the fact while Justin Fields has looked great, this is the best Justin Fields has ever looked in his entire NFL career. If you can sell Justin Fields and a depth wide receiver such as Hollywood Brown, we're wide receiver 5 on your team that's not really making an impact in your starting lineup. And if you can go out and get a top 3 elite level quarterback, if you can get to Mahomes, if you can get to Josh Allen, if you can get to Jalen Hurts, I still stand by the fact that I think it would be an interesting spot to go through and pivot off of Fields, who has been elite against very bad defenses, for a quarterback that I believe will be elite regardless of the matchup. So like I said, if we can sell Fields for Josh Allen, I stand by that call, and I'm still willing to add a depth wide receiver to it. Now, going over to the wide receiver side of things, if you are looking at DJ Moore comes out and DJ Moore drops 230 receiving yards, 8 receiving touchdowns, 8 receptions. Imagine 8 receiving touchdowns. Oh my God. 3 receiving touchdowns and 10 targets. With DJ Moore, he has 230 of Justin Fields' 282 passing yards. The market share numbers are off the charts. DJ Moore could have potentially had an even bigger day than this. There was a touchdown that was left on the table. You could have been looking at DJ Moore with like 250 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns, and 9 receptions. Absurd. Now, going and looking at what this defense has given up, Underdog tweeted this out. Marvin Mims, they let up 113 receiving yards in the receiving touchdown. Stephon Diggs, 111 yards. A.J. Brown, 175 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns last week. We understand, yes, it is a prime matchup. But even though it was a prime matchup for DJ Moore to go out there and do this, like we were saying, we are putting it on the calendar for DJ Moore and Justin Fields to be sell-high players after this game. I think I'm going to walk the DJ Moore statement back. Just because the market share numbers are so ridiculous that at this point, where I was previously saying after this game, we were going to go through and sell DJ Moore for Olave. I would sell DJ Moore for Jalen Waddle. To still say that after what we saw, even if the matchup was strong for DJ Moore, I see we have people in the chat saying still sell high on DJ Moore. I don't know. I mean, we can run through and we can see what the updated DJ Moore price is, but 230 receiving yards off of 282 passing, even if the matchup was there and even if this was the perfect setup for a blow-up game, I don't know if we can still say this, because look at the other receivers in this offense. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this. These are like, this is college numbers. DJ Moore, 230 receiving yards. Cole Kmet, 42. Robert Tonyan, 10. You have Equanimeous St. Brown at 0. Khalil Herbert at 0. Darnell Mooney at 0. DJ Moore, 230 receiving yards in this game. All other Chicago Bears wide receivers, 0. I don't know. Yes, it's wild. I don't know if we can go through and sell high on here. Let's go through a hypothetical. Okay. Who would y'all rather have rest of season? And I know we're going to go crazy. I'm going to start it off, see, can we sell high? Am I able to still say this and just move the goalpost here? Would you rather have DJ Moore or CeeDee Lamb rest of season? Please spam the live chat and let me know. And while you are down there, please go down and drop a like on this live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. Less than 10% of y'all have hit that like button. And we've live streamed every single day for 160 days in a row. Gonna live stream every single day until 2024. Hit that like button and subscribe. But let's see. Would you rather have DJ Moore or Lamb? We got DJ, Lamb. Okay, so never mind. Yeah, we're all on the same page there. Just making sure we weren't going to say that people are going absolutely nuts here. Let me go ahead and pull up another wide receiver that we can get a gauge on this updated DJ Moore value and see if there's a potential other case that we could be looking at. Who would y'all rather have rest of season, DJ Moore or Devonta Smith? Because this was about the range of wide receiver that I was going to say, let's go through and let's sell DJ Moore for. If he went out, and what I was expecting is 6 receptions, 80 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. I was expecting a good game, but a normal game. But I think once we see this game, can I still say Smith? Probably not. We got Smith, Moore. DJ's around 8 to 12. That's exactly where we're looking at in our rankings right now. DJ. Yeah, so I think I'm right in line with y'all now, where I was previously ready to say, let's go through and let's sell DJ Moore for Devonta Smith after this game. Honestly, no, there's no way in hell we can do that. To see these kind of market numbers, even if in worse matchups, Justin Fields comes back down to earth, still at the end of the day, DJ Moore can still be extremely viable from a fantasy football perspective. Now, it will be interesting to see what we're going to be doing when it comes to the running backs. In that if you are looking at the RBs here, like we said, the usage is not going to be something that's valuable to look at. You had Khalil Herbert get injured. You had Roschon Johnson deal with the concussion. But now going forward, I mean, we need to know the extent of what's going on with Khalil Herbert. We need to know the extent of how many games Roschon's going to miss. If we have both running backs missing time, then maybe D'Onta Foreman is someone we can get excited about if he's active. I mean, I don't even know if he's with the team anymore, to be honest with you. But I would assume that D'Onta Foreman would be the guy. No, he was not an active RB3 now, just because he's not going to go out there and return kicks. It's not who D'Onta Foreman is. But the issue is, if Roschon misses and Khalil plays, it's probably going to be a split running back by committee where I don't know if we're that excited to play Khalil. If Khalil misses and Roschon plays, it's probably going to be a running back by committee where I don't know if we're that excited to play Roschon. And of course, Hook'em Horns. I love Roschon Johnson. So yeah, running backs, hard to be too excited about anybody in this instance. But real quick, ladies and gentlemen, as we get to questions here, let me show y'all one of my favorite pick'ems we have on Underdog this week with the Joe Burrow injury and how bad this Cincinnati offense looks. We hit on our Underdog pick'em for Brian Robinson, more than 6.5 receiving yards for tonight. One of my favorite pick'ems on Underdog for this weekend will be Joe Mixon for fewer than 94.5 total yards going up against the Arizona Cardinals. I know it's a good matchup. I know Mixon's good. This is just a horrendous offense with the Burrow injury. And of course, if you want to check out that pick'em, you can use promo code FLOCK, link in the live chat, link in the description, link in the comment section. You'll get a 100% deposit match up to $500. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be getting a Tua Tagovailoa special pick'em this Sunday, more than less than half a total yard with promo code FLOCK. And I got everybody set up. Doesn't matter if you use promo code FLOCK today, yesterday, 2 years ago, tomorrow. For next week, everybody use promo code FLOCK. We'll have a Justin Herbert special pick of more than less than half a total yard as well. Super pumped that we are able to get y'all that. And I forgot, yes, we did not talk about what we had with Cole Kmet. Kmet, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 42 receiving yards, receiving touchdown. Looks good. I have a lot of Cole Kmet in best ball, which I kind of do like. But I think that, honestly, this doesn't fundamentally change like where Cole Kmet is in our rankings. Like this week, we had Cole Kmet as tight ends 10. Right next to Darren Waller. Like maybe you move Cole Kmet up to like tight end 8, you know. But in reality, good game from Cole Kmet. I just don't necessarily know if this is going to change things big time, my friend. But, oh yeah, we would definitely rather have DJ Moore over T. Higgins at this point. I mean, T. Higgins injured. Joe Burrow injured. You have to go DJ Moore over T. Higgins by a mile at this point, but let me go ahead and pull up some of these questions that we have. And as we get to this, please, if you have not done so already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, I appreciate you. We'll leave it at that. Let me go ahead and let me see if we can get to these. Okay. So I believe our first question is going to be coming out from Cody. Says, 12-team PPR, 1 and 3. Ayuk, Gibbs for Chris Olave. I think you are going to need more for the combo of Ayuk, Gibbs. Do not mind selling Ayuk at all if Debo's going to be fully healthy, but you need more than that. Dean says Superflex PPR just traded Puka, Miles Sanders, Waddle, and got back Purdy, Javonte, Kupp. What are your thoughts? Puka versus Kupp, rest of season, probably give me Kupp. Javonte versus Miles, give me Miles, but it's whatever. With Jalen Waddle versus Brock Purdy, if you needed a quarterback, I think it's a fair deal. Fair deal if you needed a QB, my friend. Okay. Riz coming out saying 12-team, 1 quarterback. We have Richardson, Bijan, JT, Tyreek, Amon-Ra, Kittle, Pacheco, Pickens. And then on the bench, we have Goff, Palmer, Algier, Mims, JSN, Quentin Johnson. Anything to improve. I think it's a strong one. Great team. Obviously, down there on the bench, we have a lot of this long-term upside, not necessarily guys that we can look to start right now. So honestly, I think we just have to just continue to play and just continue to make sure that we are winning games in the short term as these rookie wide receivers are going to continue to get better in the long term. AJ says traded Moore and James Cook for Jamar Chase. Can everybody please spam the chat? At this point, y'all know we were saying after this game, we were going to be selling high on Justin Fields and DJ Moore based off the past 2 weeks matchups. Still stand by. Let's sell Justin Fields in a small piece. Let's go get Jalen Hurts. Let's go get Mahomes. Let's go get Josh Allen. Would y'all sell DJ Moore and James Cook for Jamar Chase? Please spam the chat. What do you want? Do you want the package or do you want Jamar Chase? Chase. More. Chase, more. It does look like this is kind of split. I mean, personally, I would go Jamar Chase. If this is the updated price on DJ Moore, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Jamar Chase here, my friend. Hayden says, just noticed Christian Watson and Khalil Herbert are on waivers. Do I drop Gibbs, JSN, Joshua Palmer, Gabe Davis for these guys? Yes, I think we will. I mean, I do really like the long-term upside of a few of these names, but let's drop Gabe Davis. Let's go get Khalil Herbert. Let's drop Joshua Palmer. Let's go get Christian Watson. I mean, with JSN, I know he's going to be the guy that a lot of people want to go through and drop because he hasn't scored fantasy points. Jackson Smith and Jigba right now sitting with 20 targets. DK Metcalf is 23 on the season. It's his first month of the season. Give the man some time. Riz says 20-team Dynasty League. Keenan Diggs, DJ, 47, 36, 49 back-to-back weeks. That is awesome, my man. In a 20-team league, yeah, those points is nuts. Asian Artifacts, always happy to see you, says, hey, man, Ayuk and Mixon for Josh Jacobs. I think we probably need a little more value for Brandon Ayuk if we're looking to sell him. Like I said, if we're selling Ayuk, I do want that low-end wide receiver 1 price tag, which I think selling him at that price would make sense. We're not selling Brandon Ayuk for just anybody, though. And then with Ayuk, I think that he is probably going to be a high-end wide receiver 2 when Deebo Samuel's fully healthy, which is why if we can sell him at that low-end wide receiver 1 price tag, if I can pivot off Ayuk and go get like Chris Olave, I'm doing it. But yeah, I don't necessarily think that you have to worry about Brandon Ayuk falling to be like a low-end wide receiver 2, even with Deebo Samuel fully healthy. Red coming out says 10-team full PPR format, 2 running backs and a flex. We have Hurts, Etienne, Robinson, Devonta Smith, Evans, Walker, Kelsey, Pierce, Michael Wilson, Tyler Boyd. Any moves you think we should make? I feel like wide receiver is pretty weak. So honestly, 10-team league wide receivers not going to matter as much. I understand how we maybe feel a little bit weak right now because we have Mike Evans on the bye and then the depth of the position really is not there for us. We have the elite level quarterback. We have the elite level tight end. We have players in this at the very top of the starting lineup that we really like. I really hate to say this. I mean, specifically in a 10-team league with only 1 flex spot, I don't necessarily think that you need to make any moves. I think we're actually just going to be chilling. And yeah, it's going to suck when we don't have enough wide receiver depth to really fill in Mike Evans, someone that we'd really want right now. But nonetheless, I think we can get by with this. And I mean, for a bye week, we don't want to trade to cover for a bye week, right? Dave says, 4-point passing touchdown format. Would you go Cousins, Stroud, or Dobbs? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Kirk Cousins even in a 4-point passing touchdown format. Mareem says, I have the opportunity to give up Allen and Andrews for Herbert, Swift, and Kelsey. Okay, before we saw Kelsey, I was going to say hell no. But Andrews to DeAndre Swift, kind of up to you. Josh Allen for Travis Kelsey. Give me Kelsey, and it's a no-brainer. If we're going to get Justin Herbert, that's easily. I mean, I'm a Chargers fan, so I want to do it, but I need your opinion, my man. Even if you are a Bills fan, you should make that trade. Preston says trade Jefferson, Stevenson, and Garrett Wilson for Eckler, Ridley, and A.J. Brown. Justin Jefferson, Austin Eckler, clear downgrade. I mean, Garrett Wilson, A.J. Brown, clear upgrade. Stevenson and Ridley, you do you. I like the idea of going through and trading for Austin Eckler on the cheap, but it does seem like we're taking on all the risk and not necessarily getting enough upside for it. Now, Mateo says, 10-team at BBR League. We have Kirk, Jefferson, Olave, CMC, Swift, Goddard, Keenan. And then on the bench, we have Gabe Davis, London, Dobbs, Jameson, Warren, Moss. Any thoughts and any traits? Okay. I think this is a really strong team as is. We have the Cousins, Jefferson stack. You have Jefferson, CMC, Swift, Keenan. What am I supposed to say with this team, my man? I mean, if somehow, some way we can take like a depth wide receiver like a London and go send him with Dallas Goedert to get a tight end upgrade, that would be a no-brainer, but it's obviously much easier said than done. Connor says Kelsey, Sanders, Watson for Tyreek, Moss, Laporta. Kelsey to Tyreek upgrade, Sanders to Moss, lateral move, call it. Watson to Laporta. If you need a tight end, let's do it. So yeah, honestly, I'm going to go Kelsey and Laporta here. 20 says Sat Lawrence for Howell. He might be the next Mahomes. Okay, my man, let's not go there. Good call on that. I mean, I was not making that call beforehand. I believe we had Sam Howell ranked as like QB 14 and Lawrence ranked at like quarterback 12. Actually, no, I had Sam Howell way lower than that. I had Sam Howell at 18. Yeah, great call. Great call. And we had Justin Fields down at quarterback 8. I had Justin Fields behind Lamar, behind Tua, behind Anthony Richardson. And I distinctly know that we told people in the live chat earlier today, we told a ton of people, 1 million people to start Justin Fields over Jordan Love, which feels good. But I know we told a lot of people to start Anthony Richardson over Justin Fields. I do apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you. If I knew Fields was going to do this, I would not have said to start Anthony Richardson over him. Now, Garrett coming out says PBR single flex. We have Richardson, Tua, Jacobs, Bijan, Kyron, Harris, JT Ayuk, Puka, Higgins, Hopkins, JSN, Addison, Amari, Kelsey. What do you think here? We are offered Jacobs dash Keenan Mostert. So I don't exactly know what you're... So we are trading Jacobs for Keenan Allen and Raheem Mostert. This is an absolute no-brainer. Go out there and make that deal right now, my man. Keenan Allen, locked and loaded wide receiver 1, considering the fact that you have no Mike Williams here, and at the same time, Raheem Mostert. I mean, it sounds like Jeff Wilson Jr. may not be someone you have to worry about right now, so I think that's a great trade. Okay, now, Cedric says traded Hollywood Stafford for Cousins, JSN. What are your thoughts? Stafford to Cousins, massive upgrade. Hollywood, JSN. Honestly, give me JSN, even if Hollywood's better in the short term. I like it. Jacob says, I asked the Commanders or Houston's defense. I faded, thank God. Good call, my man. Good call. If y'all don't know, the Commanders are actually 5.5 point favorites going into this game. The Commanders are 5.5 point favorites. They lose by 20 points. Chris says Mason traded Dobbs straight up for Fields. I mean, DJ Moore this morning. We also have Justin. How the hell did you get DJ Moore for Romeo Dobbs, my man? Now, if you can go and like someone else in this live stream, trade as DJ Moore and a depth running back for Jamar Chase. Maybe should do it. Anthony says, Mason, one of my leagues, it's a 10-team standard scoring. I'm 0-4, was offered Mostert and Kirk for Kamara, Michael Wilson. Opponent has Connor, Montgomery, Etienne, Godwin. Who should I counter with, or do I accept as is? Thank you. No, thank you, my man. Kamara and Mostert, honestly, probably lateral move, slight downgrade. Michael Wilson to Kirk, not going to make too big of a difference for us. I think that I already know everybody in the chat's going to go Kamara here, so I'm going to change the question just a bit. And if we were going to counter, let's see if we could get, say, Chris Godwin. Can everybody spam the chat? Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Raheem Mostert? Actually, no, we're going to change it a little bit more. We're going to change it from Mostert. Would you rather have James Conner and Christian Kirk or Alvin Kamara and Michael Wilson? James Conner and Christian Kirk or Alvin Kamara and Michael Wilson? Personally, my man, I'm not a massive fan of going out and trading for Christian Kirk right now. I think the volume may go down a bit if we get Zay Jones back in here. So it is tough. It is tough. And Rob says, I'm not a Bears fan, but my friends who are said Sugga Mason bear down, friendly fire in the chat. This is one weird thing that has happened, right? I mean, I saw that one of our tweets are going viral that I said that the Bears were not a Super Bowl favorite like what you had with the Philadelphia Eagles or the Buffalo Bills. Said the Bears weren't going to be as good as the Bills and Eagles because they got DJ Moore. The Bears, phenomenal game. Super happy for them. They beat the Commanders. Now they're 1-4. Like, let's be a little realistic on what's going down here. I mean, very, very happy for Chicago, for Justin Fields and DJ Moore. Bears fans, on the other hand, y'all are still a little delusional and y'all maybe need to seek a little bit of help. But Dean says, trade Lamb for DeAndre Swift, Christian Watson. We have no running backs. I would try to get a slightly better wide receiver. I mean, if you are looking at CeeDee Lamb, this is a wide receiver that I still kind of view as that mid wide receiver one. I know the passing volume hasn't been there just because how bad the game environment has been for CeeDee Lamb, where the Dallas Cowboys are just rolling teams on the defensive side of things. Jack says Fields rest of season. If I had to rank Justin Fields rest of season, I mean, he's had 2 very good games. He's had a couple of very bad games. I think he would be about where we had him coming into the year. If you remember our rankings coming into this season, we went at quarterback, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields. Would I rather now have Justin Fields over Lamar Jackson because of the past 2 weeks? No, I would not. Lamar Jackson in his last 2 games has had 4 rushing touchdowns. I still think in my mind, Justin Fields is the quarterback 5 rest of season. And I still think if I could take Justin Fields in a small piece and go up and get to Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, or Jalen Hurts, I probably would. But Craig says, more Pacheco for Austin Eckler. Can everybody spam the chat? This is another good DJ Moore question. Would you rather have DJ Moore and Isaiah Pacheco or Austin Eckler? DJ Moore, great game today. Looked so damn good. Took advantage of a great matchup. DJ Moore, I mean, putting up college-type numbers, 230 receiving yards out of like 280 passing yards in this offense. I still would probably rather have Eckler. So, let me see. DJ, Eckler. Okay, so it looks like most people are going Eckler here. Yeah, okay. Happy that I don't have to be the bad guy. We're going to go Eckler. Isaiah says, should I make this trade giving Kelsey and gaining Bijan and giving Gibbs and gaining Laporta? Kelsey for Bijan, give me Bijan. Gibbs to Laporta, probably give me Gibbs. But if you need a tight end, then sure. I mean, would I rather have Kelsey and Laporta or Bijan and... Would I rather have Kelsey and Gibbs or Bijan and Laporta? Very close. Hook 'em Lawrence. I'm very biased, so I'm going to go Bijan. Juan coming out says, Bubba, should I trade Ridley and Kittle for Anthony Richardson? Honestly, no. I mean, I think that you would be paying a little bit too much here. I understand. I mean, especially if we have Goff, we can start Goff for the time being, and then we can hope on the long-term upside of Burrow. Mr. Filthy Wub says 51.5 combined points between Fields and Samuel for Thursday night. Is Fields a hold or a sell? Going into this game, the quarterbacks that I had ranked ahead of Justin Fields that I need to take a massive L on, and we need to now say Justin Fields are ahead of Tua and Anthony Richardson. However, our plan after this game, even going back 5 hours ago, we titled that last live stream, Justin Fields breakout, question mark. He said at the very beginning, he's going to do great, and then we're going to look to sell high after the game. If I can sell Justin Fields in a small piece and go get Josh Allen, go get Patrick Mahomes, go get Jalen Hurts, I would like to do it. John says, should have went with my gut and started Moore. I'm very sorry, my man. I wonder who you started over DJ Moore. All I know is they probably will not score as many points as DJ Moore here. And let me ask you all this in the live chat, because this is something I'm very interested in going forward. Because like I said, I think, so we had Justin Fields at quarterback 5 coming into the season. With him struggling at the beginning of the year, I decided to move Anthony Richardson ahead of him in our rest of season rankings. I think now we can probably admit that that was a mistake. I still think we probably just put him at quarterback 5, but maybe I'm wrong. Can y'all spam the chat? Who would you rather have rest of season? Would you rather have Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson? Please let me know. Please let me know. Justin Fields or Lamar, because that's where I kind of draw the line. Looking like a fool, Mason on. What are you talking about, my man? Justin Fields. Do we need to pull up our receipts on our Bears exposure this year? Here's our Bears exposure on Underdog. 9% Justin Fields ahead of market. Literally ahead of market on every single Bear minus Chase Claypool, where we have at 6%. Head of market on every single Bear. I stand by that now. I think if we can go through and sell Fields. Fields is QB5. Give me Lamar. Lamar. Fields, Lamar. It's close, but Lamar. I don't know. Adrian still says Anthony Richardson over Justin Fields. I'm willing to take my L. I'm willing to go through and I'm willing to say, no. We had Anthony Richardson coming out of Justin Fields going into this game. Probably we should have kept Justin Fields there, not overreact to the beginning of the season. I think it is Justin Fields going forward. Okay. So let me pull up our next question. It's going to take me a second to pull this up. And as I move this around and adjust, let me remind you, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, if you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy for this week, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $500 on Underdog Fantasy. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings in tiers. And you'll be getting a Tua special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard. And on top of this, you'll be getting a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard next week, coming out of the bye week. And the 201's only for new people who use promo code FLOCK. The Herbert one doesn't matter if you use promo code FLOCK 2 years ago, last year, this year, it's happening. And then I do want to I probably address this because people are probably getting us mixed up in terms of what we are doing in terms of our takes with the Chicago Bears coming into this season versus our takes with Justin Fields from a fantasy football perspective. I still stand by our takes from a real life perspective. From a real life perspective, I still don't think Justin Fields is a great quarterback, and I still think the Bears are a bad team. I'm really sorry if maybe me being excited about these guys in fantasy mixes things up. I want to be on record. Justin Fields, I do not think is a great real life quarterback. I think he's a great fantasy quarterback given his rushing upside and his spike weeks against bad defenses. But from a real life perspective, I'm very sorry to say, I do not think the Chicago Bears, who are now 1-4 because they beat the Washington Commanders on Thursday night, are going through and are now a good NFL team. I still stand by the fact I do not think they are the Philadelphia Eagles once the Eagles got A.J. Brown. Stand by the fact I do not think that they are the Buffalo Bills when the Bills got Stephon Diggs. If you think they are, I'm sorry. You're most likely a Chicago Bears fan. And I don't know. But, of course, Justin Fields, phenomenal in fantasy. Phenomenal. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and let's pull up our next question. Coming from Alex, who says, 10-team PBR. We have Love, Diggs, Ayuk, Pollard, Jacobs, Andrews, Montgomery. And then on the bench, we have Moore, DK, Lawrence, Warren, Watson. Do I trade DJ for Waddle? Or do I move DJ with someone else for a better quarterback or an elite receiver? Going into this game, my plan was after this game, blow up matchup. I thought DJ Moore would have maybe, say, 6 receptions, 80 receiving yards, and the receiving touchdown. And I was ready to say, let's go ahead and let's sell him for Jalen Waddle. After this game, hell no. You have to have DJ Moore over Jalen Waddle at this point. And then in terms of making a trade, if you wanted to go get an elite level quarterback, if you could sell DJ Moore and Jordan Love and go get to the Lamar, Allen, Mahomes, Hurts range, yes, we would do that if we can get like a top 3 QB. Okay. But no, we can't sell for Waddle. Not after this game. If it was like the 60 receiving yards and the receiving touchdown or 80 receiving yards, receiving touchdown, yes. But you would need a way better receiver if you were going to. Now, Shalom coming out saying, if I'm looking at a trade package, Mike Evans, Alexander Madison in a non-PBR 10-team league, what type of player should I expect in return? Non-PBR format, typically I'm going to be looking for a running back if we can get one. If we can go like Mike Evans and Alexander Madison to pivot over to like Kenneth Walker in a non-PBR format, I think that would make sense. Jay says, could Jaleel be the man in Denver? He outperformed any week Javonte had with limited touches. He looked very good from a week-to-week perspective. The size isn't necessarily there. I think this is probably going to be a running back by committee no matter what. Now, this is Bussin' You Heard. Says, PBR, would you trade Addison for Christian Watson? I probably would. Boomer Sooner. It'll be a great game Saturday. Love the channel. Hogamorn's my man. And yeah, I mean, Addison, Christian Watson, kind of up to you. I think both wide receivers have the high ceiling. Mr. Philly Webb says, a 4-0 10-team BBR, trade James Conner for Dameon Pierce. You probably want James Conner there, my friend. Owen says, 10-team BBR, should I trade away Dobbs, Khalil Herbert, and Amari for Puka and Deebo Samuel? So going from Amari to Puka, probably an upgrade. Going from Dobbs to Deebo is an upgrade. We're paying an injured Khalil Herbert to get it done. Yes, we probably want to. 50 Shades of Trade coming out saying, traded Puka, Tank, Achane for Tyreek and Puka. We traded Tank and Achane for Tyreek. That's how it reads. If that's the deal, phenomenal. I don't exactly know what it is, though. Handy Manny says, traded Moore and Hawkinson for Olave and Henry before this game. Moore to Olave. That was my plan to say to go tell everybody to sell DJ Moore for Olave after this game. Now it's very hard to say that out loud. And then obviously going from Hawkinson to Hunter Henry is a massive downgrade. Okay. To the max says 12-team BBR, single flex spot. Roster is Love, Mixon, Achane, Chase, Puka, Waddle, Komet. And the bench is Dak, Ford, Sanders, Taylor, Warren, Lockett. Any trades, thanks, space. No, thank you so much, my man. I would like to upgrade quarterback if we can. Bringing in Jonathan Taylor may make this actually possible. If we could go through and if we could send maybe one of these depth pieces like Joe Mixon and Jordan Love to go get to a quarterback like Lamar Jackson now that we have Jonathan Taylor coming in, I would really like that, especially when we have these other running back depth pieces such as Ford and Miles Sanders. But now Sean coming out says, starting Purdy, Aaron Jones, Cook, Lamb, Diggs, Hawkinson, Olave. On the bench, we have Walker, JSN, who we're going to drop. I would not drop Jackson Smith and Jigba, way too early. Charbonnet, Roschon, Thielen, and Watson. Any tips? Yeah, honestly, just please don't drop JSN. I think that when you're looking at that bench, we're going to be rostering guys that have long-term upside. JSN has 20 targets compared to DK Metcalf through the first month of his NFL career. Here in this range, this is obvious when I'm trying to go out there and trade for a better quarterback if it's a league where you only start 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. So if we could take one of those depth players such as like Adam Thielen and Brock Purdy to get to a quarterback that we're excited about with some upside, maybe go Christian Watson and Brock Purdy and go get to like Anthony Richardson. If we can somehow swing that, I would really like that. Now, Miles says 12-team full BBR format, single flex, 3-1. Hurts, Pollard, Swift, Kupp, Puka, Higbee, Mixon. And then on the bench, we have Njoku, Watson, Khalil, Gus, JSN, Dotson, Spears. We want to move Tyler Higbee. Any other moves? So if you're trading Higbee, I'm going to tell you something. You're not going to get anything for him, to be honest. If you were going to sell Higbee, you essentially are going to have to package him together with one of these depth pieces and get a slight upgrade. I'll say as a quick side note, I think at this point, from what we have seen with Jahan Dotson, he just simply does not have the upside to move the needle for you and from a fantasy football perspective. So I do think that you're going to want to go ahead and you're going to want to let go of Jahan Dotson, my friend. Now, ABZ says currently 1-3 with Dak, Daniel Jones, Lamb, Devonta, Bijan, Gibbs, Frymuth, JSN, Dotson, Roschon. We get offered Lamb for DK, Ramondre, and Komet. What are your thoughts? So we have Frymuth at tight end. I'd say if we can sell DK and Ramondre for CeeDee Lamb, I'm about it, but there's no reason why we need to go through and sell Cole Kmet here. I mean, we actually need Cole Kmet on our roster. Now, Dean says, with the deal I had made, the team will now be Mahomes, Purdy, Daniel Jones, Jacobs, Cook, Montgomery, Javonte, Amon-Ra, Diggs, Kupp, Kirk, Terry. Oh, great team. Superflex. Yeah, I remember this being the Superflex team, my man. Great team. I think it makes sense to go trade for that third quarterback. We have the running back depth. We have the wide receiver production as well, especially now that we're getting Cooper Kupp back in. It made a lot of sense to go out there and get another quarterback that's viable. Juan says, Hopkins or Hollywood in the flex? I am going to go Hollywood Brown over DeAndre Hopkins in the flex. Jacob says, 4-0 trade Madison Moore for Pollard. We had JT on the IR. Hell yes. I mean, actually, let me double check and see if we can ask the chat this real quick, because obviously DJ Moore is out there crushing it. DJ Moore looks better than any wide receiver in the NFL right now specifically. Who would you rather have rest of season? Would you rather have Alexander Madison and DJ Moore or Tony Pollard? Alexander Madison, DJ Moore, or Tony Pollard? Please let me know, because maybe I'm off here. Maybe I'm off. I just view Tony Pollard as the top 3 running back in fantasy at the moment. Okay. So Madison, Pollard, we'll call him Moore. So Moore, Pollard. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we don't have to be the bad guy. It looks like a lot of people in the chat are saying Tony Pollard here as well. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we are less than 90 likes away from hitting 1,000 likes on this live stream. If you have not done so already, please go down there, drop a like on this stream. Help us out, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Barry Two Cold says, should we start Brees over Henry or Jacobs? No, you should not, even if he's exciting. Tyler says, give Herbert, Ayuk for Allen and Aaron Jones. Justin Herbert to Josh Allen, massive upgrade. Ayuk to Aaron Jones, up to you based on the position you need. Yeah, let's go get Josh Allen. In says, a 4-0, 20-team league. Always happy to see you, my man. Plus return yards. Any 1-for-1 wide receiver for running back ideas. Waddle, Smith, Puka, Deontay, Mims, Etienne, Chuba. Thinking about Pacheco. If you could send Deontay Johnson for Isaiah Pacheco, now that you have less work from Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this offense, and it looks more like a 2-man running back by committee rather than a 3-man running back by committee, really like that idea, and I would definitely look to do that, my friend. Victor says 0-4, happy BR 12-team league. We have Richardson, Burrow, Chase, Ridley, Hall, Montgomery, Gibbs, Olave, Javonte, DK, Flowers, Henry. Should we trade Olave and Gibbs for Jacobs and Pittman? Olave to Pittman, clear downgrade. Gibbs to Jacobs, clear upgrade. I think it is very important to know that we are 0-4 with this team, because if this was a 4-0 team, I'd say, you know what, man, I think Gibbs will continue to expand his role as the season goes on. Probably going to look to hold the long-term upside. 0-4, you need points in the lineup today. We need to sell Gibbs. Go make the deal. Diego coming out says 10-team happy BR 3 wide receivers. We have Herbert, Pollard for Allen and Ayuk. Herbert, Allen, upgrade. Pollard, Ayuk, massive downgrade. You cannot do this. We have Diggs, Addison, Dobbs, Rice, Quentin Johnson. Thoughts on CMC and Ayuk on the same team? Completely fine having CMC and Ayuk on the same team. That's not the issue with this deal in my mind. It's just going down from Tony Pollard to Brandon Ayuk is a severe downgrade, even if Ayuk has been crushing it. Tony Pollard is the top 3 RB. Jared says started Logan Thomas over Higbee. Great call, my man. I mean, I had Higbee over him in my rankings, and clearly, Logan Thomas will have a much better day. Lost Frymuth, and I'm a Bears fan and know how horrendous their D is. I might be him. Love the post-game streams. You're the man. Appreciate you, my friend. And I am happy to hear that a Bears fan can support the channel, even if I do not think that they are the Eagles or the Bills. And can you please let me know in the live chat, is it still unreasonable, even if after back-to-back weeks, I say that Justin Fields, and this is what we've said all year, this is what we said last year, Justin Fields is a good fantasy quarterback based off rushing upside, but he is not a good real-life quarterback, and the Bears are not a good football team. Is that an unreasonable thing for me to say still at this point, or do I need to take that back? Because y'all know I am quick to apologize when I am wrong for something. So if y'all think I owe you an apology for this, please let me know. But, yeah. Let me know. I feel like we just get, it's just when you speak I want to say the best, and of course, best is always subjective, but the best fan bases on the planet, at least from my experience, because, I talk and just interact with everybody, the Bears and the Lions. Because if you are not all in on the Bears and Lions, where you only speak positive things about those teams, those fan bases threaten you. And I mean threaten you. So, I don't know. I would say the Bears have the Bears and Lions probably have the most, I don't want to say the best, but the most intense fan bases in the entire NFL. At least from what I've seen. Okay. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 like away from 1,000 likes on this live stream. So if you have not done so, go down there, drop a like on the stream, help us get to 1,000. And come on, we've live streamed every single day since April. We're live streaming every single day since 2024. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Chef says, after my trades and sell-offs, I have Mahomes, Kelsey, a beautiful, Montgomery, Kamara, Waddle, Flowers, Nico. On the bench, we have Jaleel, Dotson, Zeke, Mike Wilson, Spears. Any thoughts, trades, or sits? Sold Cousins for $20 fab. Okay. Figured we could have got a little bit more than that, my man. I think we just need to go through and we need to continuously churn the waiver wire. We have a great starting lineup in terms of changing anything in the lineup. Not for this week. Our bench is trash. I mean, great starting lineup. Let's just go through and let's cycle these guys. Really nice to have Mahomes and Kelsey. We're going to need a roster backup quarterback or tight ends. Now, Ed says 12-team PPR, 2-2. We have Fields, Bijan, JT. So we're 3-2. Diggs, Olave, Hawkinson, Ridley. The bench is weak with Cooks, Goff, Dell, Tajee, Jake Ferguson. Shop up or sit still. Shop up, sit still. If you wanted to go through, if you wanted to move anything, now it looks like Justin Fields is someone that I hate to say it, but if we can take Justin Fields and like Tank Dell, if you can go get Hurts, Mahomes, Allen, I'm doing it. You just played 2 bottom 5 defenses in the NFL. Obviously, we're not, at this point, I walk back. I had Anthony Richardson out of him. I'm taking my L on that front. But, yeah, if we can go make that move, we would. Outside of that, you're chilling. Great team. Omar coming out saying, 12-team full BBR format. I'm 3-1. We have Allen, CMC, Swift, AJ, Ayuk, Amari, Hawkinson. Should I trade Swift and Ayuk for Brees and Hall? Thanks, Mason. Sorry. Brees and Olave, not Brees and Hall. Swift to Brees, downgrade. Ayuk to Olave, slight upgrade. I would honestly probably rather have Swift and Ayuk until we at least get to see the production from Brees. I like the idea of going out there buying low on Olave. Like, I would sell Ayuk for Olave straight up. I don't want to do the Swift for Brees one. Midflame says, trade DJ Moore and Aaron Jones for Devontae Adams. I think this has a lot to do with your overall league format, where if it's like 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, and a 10-team format, probably just give me the best player in Adams. But if it's like a 12-team league, multiple flex spots, you probably want the package because DJ Moore and Aaron Jones are both clearly startable guys. But can everybody please let me know in the live chat right now, what direction are you taking this? Are you going to go with DJ Moore and Aaron Jones or Devontae Adams? DJ Moore and Aaron Jones or Devontae Adams, please let me know in the live chat, ladies and gentlemen. We got Adams, Moore. Adams. It looks like everybody in the chat saying Adams. I don't think it's that easy. I do like Aaron Jones as well. Like I said, if it's that like 10-team league, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, I think you go with the best player if it's Adams. If it's like a 12-team multi-flex format, probably go with the package. Crano says, full BBR start 2 receivers and 2 flex. We have Wilson, London, Judy, Dell, Downs, Pacheco, Kyron, Laporta. We're going to go ahead. We are going to take Kyron Williams easily in the flex spot. You have to pencil him in. Wide receiver, we're going to go Garrett Wilson in a plus matchup against Denver. We will be going with Jerry Judy as well in that same game. And then for the flex, we're going to go Pacheco with him expanding his role in KC. Now, Gabriel says, 10-team at BBR League. We have Herbert, Stroud, Hill, Olave, DJ Palmer, Barkley, Herbert, Warren, Gainwell, Andrews. Need help at running back. Who can we buy for DJ? So if you are looking to sell DJ Moore, our wide receiver 3 here, you'd be looking to package him with Khalil Herbert, preferably to a Bears fan. And if you could send DJ Moore and Khalil Herbert, here are all the running backs I would trade them for. Obviously, a lot of these guys you would be rejected for, but if we saw a Pollard trade earlier, I would trade him for Pollard. I'd trade him for Bijan. I'd trade him for CMC. And I'd trade him for Eckler in a heartbeat. There, when it gets to like the Barkley, Jacobs range, it is going to be up to you, though, my friend. Now, Gabriel says 10-team at BBR format. Quarterbacks are... Ooh, I'm sorry. No, we're at Black Jesus. Thank you, my man. You know I appreciate you. Says the 2 games I sit Fields, he goes off. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, my man. 10-team full BBR, Fields, Anthony Richardson. Not going to lie to you, I would have taken Anthony Richardson over Justin Fields as well. Probably something we know not to do going forward. Bijan, James Cook, Charbonnet, Amon-Ra, Amari, Watson, Puka, Dell, Andrews. What Fields trade do we make? If you wanted to, if you could sell Justin Fields and James Cook and go get to Tony Pollard, go get to Bijan, they would be a no-brainer. Obviously, the expectation is that would get rejected, but you can try. If you could sell Fields and like Amari Cooper, Fields and Christian Watson, go get to Devontae Adams, go get to Stephon Diggs. I think that would make a lot of sense as well. But yeah, we would look to do that. And Owen says, read Super Chats. I am reading Super Chats, my friend. That's what this page is. Just going in order. Going in order. Okay, so, and actually, we are at the end of that line, so we're going to have to refresh this so we can keep on bringing them up. So, as I do this, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And, of course, if you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, our favorite pick'em tonight was Brian Robinson for more than 6.5 receiving yards, which he did hit. By one of my favorite pick'ems for this Sunday will be Joe Mixon for for fewer than 94.5 total yards against the Arizona Cardinals with the Burrow injury. And if you use promo code FLOCK on Underdog, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. You'll be getting a Tua special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard this Sunday. And that's only if you're new to Underdog with promo code FLOCK plus the deposit match. But also, it doesn't matter if you're new to Underdog or old to Underdog. I got everybody hooked up with a Justin Herbert special pick'em next week that use promo code FLOCK. Didn't matter if you did that today, tomorrow, 2 years ago, you will have that Justin Herbert special pick'em. Pumped that I was able to get you all that, so make sure you take advantage. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, this is Citrus Track. Who says, pick PBR, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. Trade Ayuk and Ford for Pierce and Adams. Yes, 100%. When we say sell Brandon Ayuk or at least throw him on the trade block, see what we can get. Yeah, if we can go get Devontae Adams, we do it, my man. Zach says, I have to pick up Fields off the waiver wire. Hell yes, you have to. If Fields is on your waiver wire, go get him, my man. 8-team non-PBR league, 6-point passing touchdown format. At the very least, you pick him up to see if we can trade him in a package. We're going to go Jefferson, Adams at wide receiver. We're going to go Barkley, Hall at running back. And then for the flex, we will go Calvin Ridley. Now, our next switch coming out from Virtua Tag says 4-0 start/trade. The Happy BR single flex league. We have Hurts, Watson. You start Hurts. Watson on bye. CMC, Pollard. We're definitely going to play those guys at running back. Wide receiver, we're going to go Amon-Ra Lamb. This is a nutso team. For the flex, we will go Jalen Waddle. I know a lot of other people would go Breece Hall. We have the elite level tight end as well. This is the most obnoxious team I've ever seen, my man. Phenomenal squad. There's no trade that you could possibly make there. Phil coming out, happy to see my man says 12-team full BBR format. Oh, brutal. Played against DJ Moore. At least we are 3-1. We have Tua, Jacobs, Pollard, Chase, Amon-Ra, Goddard, Puka, Ravens, Aubrey. On the bench, we have Gibbs, Pittman, Kamara, Stafford, and Joku Palmer, JSN. How are we looking? Anything to improve? Not necessarily. I think that you are in a spot where we are focused in on some long-term upside with guys like JSN and Jahmyr Gibbs down there on the bench. So I really do like to see that. We have Jamar Chase for the long-term upside. We're 3-1 for the time being, which is kind of how we want to be situated. So honestly, I don't really see anything unless if you could send, say, like Alvin Kamara and Dallas Goedert and somehow go out there and get to like Kelsey. If you could somehow get that, we would. But obviously, the expectation is they would reject. Nico says trade Brian Robinson and Pittman for Jalen Waddle. Running backs are Bijan, Najee, Pacheco. Receivers are Adams, Evans, Pickens. Currently 2-2 in a 10-team league. If this is a league where it's 10 teams, you start 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex, yes, we would go ahead and do that. We would, my friend. Now, KJ says, love the videos. Thanks for everything. No, thank you, my man. What do you think about Devontae and Kyron for either Keenan and Swift or Eckler and Ayuk? So Devontae to Eckler, honestly, maybe an upgrade at this point. Lateral move, if that. Then Kyron to Ayuk, I do think is a slight downgrade. Definitely not going to do the Keenan and Swift one. Would like to move away from Kyron for a different running back. If that is your objective here, I think you can go ahead and do the second deal. With that being said, with Kyron Williams, I don't necessarily think that he is a talented running back in his own right, but his workload is so damn good right now that it's very difficult to go through and say to sell Kyron Williams in fantasy. I mean, this is someone that is just absolutely crushing. Now, Braulio says, should I trade Jamar Chase for Jonathan Taylor or DJ Moore? We have Tyreek, and my running backs are Gibbs and Moss. Yeah, so if we have no running backs, yes, we would sell Jamar Chase for JT and Moore. Jero says, the DJ Moore experience hits again. Went wrong last season. For a flex this week, Wilson or Gallup? Thanks, Mason. Appreciate you, my friend. We will go ahead. We'll most likely take Michael Wilson, even if we're not super, super confident with it. Now, 50 Shades of Trey coming out saying, thoughts on the 12-team PPR format where we have Herbert, Stroud, Keenan, Tyreek, Lamb, Curtis, Wilson, JSN, Bijan, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Really strong team. I mean, obviously, we need Stroud to start this week in favor of Justin Herbert. We have a lot of depth. The only thing I would say is possibly if we get Herbert coming out of the bye next week, then at that point we can look to sell maybe like CJ Stroud and a wide receiver and go get an upgrade in the lineup, maybe from the Burrow team. If they really need a QB, then we do it. But obviously that'd be after we get past the bye week for Justin Herbert. Okay. Bill says just got offered Jordan Love and Tyler Boyd for Hollywood Brown, Joshua Palmer to 12-team PPR format. We have Purdy, Daniel Jones, Olave, Puka, Garrett Wilson, Hollywood, Gabe, Ramondre, Bijan, Connor, Sanders, Henry. Is this a fair deal? So going from Palmer to Tyler Boyd, give me Joshua Palmer, Hollywood to Jordan Love. The question you need to ask yourself is, okay, if I make this deal, who do I cut between Brock Purdy and Daniel Jones? You can't roster 3 QBs. And then do you think the combo of Jordan Love and Brock Purdy is going to be a fundamental difference in your expected win rate the rest of the year? Typically, if I'm trading for a quarterback, I want to be trading for someone that has the elite level ceiling, not necessarily someone that we just picked up off the waiver wire. And I like Jordan Love, to be honest with you. But I don't know, my man. I don't know. Okay. Now, Dylan says 10-team PPR, Lamar, Madison, Kupp, McLaurin, Andrews, Ford, Brian Robinson, Hopkins, Addison. We had Puka and traded him for Jonathan Taylor today. Like that move in a 10-team league. Great team. We're getting cut back in. I mean, we'll have Bijan, JT to play together. Really, the only thing I'd say is if we get back together like McLaurin and Alexander Madison to go get an RB upgrade, we would. Pay basis, full PPR, Zay, Nico, Ridley, Thielen, pick 2. We're going to go with Nico and Calvin Ridley, my man. Nico Collins looks like a must-start player, and I'm not giving up on Ridley just yet. James says 12-team PPR 1-3 record was offered Sutton and Algier for Hollywood Brown. Other receivers are A.J. Brown, Watson, Pittman. Do we do it for the handcuff? Honestly, I don't really care. If you want, it just comes down to who would you rather have at wide receiver? If you'd Hollywood, Sutton for me are in about the same range. So if you are valuing Tyler Algier, then yeah, sure, go make the move. But you also have to think about who you're going to be cutting, my friend. The Pro Shredder, always happy to see you, my man, says 10-team at BBR League. We have Fields, Stroud, Chase, AJ, Pittman, Dobbs, Boyd, Swift, Kyron, Algier, Komet. Need to find running back depth. We have Kyron, Swift, have a bye week 10. You do not need to be worried about a week 10 bye, my friend. That's the last thing that we are focused in on. At this point, what I'd be looking, I think you're fine, to be honest. I mean, we have 5 weeks to figure out running backs off the waiver wire. What I would be looking to do is see if we could take like Romeo Dobbs and Justin Fields coming off this massive Fields performance and see if we can get to Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or Jalen Hurts. Now, Asian Artifact says, got Purdy, Lawrence, Bijan, Saquon, Mixon, Roshan, Jaleel, Amon-Ra Smith, Ayuk, Austin, Jameson, Ferguson at tight end. Thoughts currently 3-1. Cut Calvin Austin. Doesn't really have the upside to make a difference and turn into an every week starter for you. So cut Calvin Austin, pick up another running back off the waiver wire that maybe has a slightly higher ceiling. I think it's a very well-balanced format where, honestly, outside of that, I think we just need these players healthy, right? We just need Amon-Ra St. Brown healthy. We just need Saquon Barkley healthy. I mean, we get Jameson Williams back, so we'll be in a great spot. Now, Dion says sell high or hold DJ Moore. So this is what we talked about at the beginning of the live stream. So going into today, our plan was to sell Justin Fields and DJ Moore after this game where they got to go up against 2 bottom 5 defenses back-to-back weeks. I still stand by. I think that we would look to pivot off and we would look to potentially sell Justin Fields if we can package and go get a quarterback that is in the elite level tier and we don't have to worry about the matchups with like Mahomes, like Allen, like Hurts. However, with DJ Moore was so good that our initial plan was to tell people, oh yeah, go sell DJ Moore for Jalen Waddle. Go sell him for Devonta Smith. Go sell him for a Chris Olave. But now, I don't know if we can say that. If you look at the market share numbers that you had for DJ Moore, it's very hard to say to go through and sell more. If you could get to like CeeDee Lamb, then hell yeah, but honestly, you probably can't. Okay. Batman Gaming coming out says, stash Damien Harris or Ronnie Rivers. I'd rather do neither. The thing is, if James Cook goes down, Harris splits the back. I'd go Damien Harris. I'd do it. Jason says, choose one more Ayuk in Dynasty. Very interesting question. DJ Moore drafted in 2018, but he was drafted at 20 years old. Brandon Ayuk drafted in 2020, but yeah, he actually stayed longer in college. So I think actually these guys are much closer in age than you'd assume. So Brandon Ayuk turns 26 in March. DJ Moore, despite getting drafted 2 years earlier, I guess turns 27 in April. So they're about the same age. Ayuk's a year younger. I think it comes down to who you would rather have this season. You'd probably rather have DJ Moore this season, no? Robo says, as a Bears fan, Fields, not the guy. Moore is elite. Yeah, I think with Justin Fields, you have to look at two different things. From a fantasy football perspective, the rushing upside gets you there. And obviously, if you throw for 4 passing touchdowns, you're going to get there as well. But I still don't think the Bears are great because I don't think that Fields is a great real-life quarterback. Fantasy is different. And then with Moore, yeah, Moore is better. Well, I mean, like I said, we were planning on selling Moore coming out of this game, but I don't know how we can keep saying that. Ton coming out says, full BBR 12-team league, 1 flex. We have Hurts, Javonte, Kamara, Walker, Lamb, Chase, DJ Moore, Laporta, and then on the bench we have Pittman, Javonte, Elijah, Hunt. Should I trade Pittman for another running back? If it's a 1 flex league, I'm fine with it. I mean, the thing is, we have Javonte as the depth. I actually probably don't right now. I understand why we would. It just really depends on the price. If you go like Pittman to James Cook, then sure. Pittman to ETN, then hell yeah. Anthony says, Mixon and Kelsey for Pollard and Olave. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, my man. Pollard, Kelsey, up to you. I'd probably slightly rather have Pollard just based off the running back landscape at the moment. Mixon, Olave, kind of up to you. I think it's a very fair trade, up to you. Vader coming out says, 10-team non-BBR 3-1. We have Lamar, Bijan, Barkley, Diggs, Zay, Ferguson, JT, Goddard, Jason, Moss, Pierce, Higgins, Gus, Mitchell. Any moves? Thanks. So thank you, my man. Non-PBR format, we want to build around running back and quarterback, which we've already done. We have Lamar, Bijan, Barkley, JT all starting. We're 3-1, and now we're getting Jonathan Taylor back into this lineup. Wide receiver 2, and the tight end's a little bit weak, but it's a non-PBR format. Those are the positions we want to punt. Phenomenal team. In this format, we stay as is. Eagles says, 10-team Herbert and Higgins for Stroud and ETN. Up to you. It really does depend on your roster and your overall league format. Clearly, we would still rather have Herbert over Stroud. I'd rather have ETN over Higgins, especially with the injury. I think a couple things matter here, my man. A couple things matter. Livin says, sup, Mason? Got offered Pollard, Garrett Wilson for Jefferson and Kupp. I would rather have Jefferson and Kupp, and it's not close. Cali Vila, longtime member of the Flexes, would you trade Amon-Ra and Kamara for Kupp and ETN? Amon-Ra to Kupp, lateral move up to you. Kamara to ETN, I'd probably rather have ETN. So yeah, let's go ahead. And honestly, I'd probably take the Kupp and ETN side if you're willing to take the risk. Jose says 12-team PPR traded James Cook, Devonta Smith for Zay Flowers and CMC. Oh my gosh, just getting CMC here is an absolute no-brainer. Now we have Allen, CMC, Walker, Jefferson. We have CMC, Allen, Jefferson on the same team. Should we trade for a receiver? No, you are chilling, my man. You have Jefferson and Olave. Phenomenal spot to be in. Work the waiver wire from here. You love to see it. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Fugly says, I have Anthony Richardson, Swift, Etienne, Jefferson, Puka, Ferguson, Olave. On the bench, we have Ramondre, Watson, Zay. Any moves? Should we trade Puka, Etienne, Ferguson for Kelsey, Bijan? Puka to Kelsey, give me Kelsey. Etienne and Ferguson for Bijan, give me Bijan. It's not even close. If you can make this move, my man, 100%. This team is already strong, but if you can make that, it just makes it 10 times better. JD coming out says, Pollard, Jacobs, JT, Kyron, Allen, DK, Flowers, Gabe Davis. Need a receiver and a tight end. Who do you trade and for who? It's a half PPR 12-team league, single flex, 3-1. So if it's a single flex format, I agree. We would like to go out there and get a viable tight ends. A wide receiver, I understand that this week we are very bad. This week we have no Keenan Allen. We have no DK Metcalf because these guys are on bye. In reality, you never want to be making a trade just to fill in for a bye week. You're fine. So what I would be looking to do is if you could sell maybe one of these running backs, if you could send like, say Jonathan Taylor, get Travis Kelce, I think that would make a lot of sense. If you wanted to go and send Kyron Williams and get to Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson, that would be interesting, specifically with how loaded our running back room is. Mr. Filthy Wub says, any examples to sell Fields for a quarterback upgrade? Very simple. What we're going to do is we're going to take Justin Fields, and if you're in a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, the wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 on your team that has some name value, but ultimately it's not really going to make an impact. Someone like Hollywood Brown. I mean, now it was John Dotson, our example previously, but everybody's dropping Dotson now. But say someone like Hollywood Brown, Justin Fields, and you go get Mahomes, you go get Josh Allen, you go get Jalen Hurts. Christy says 10-team ABBR format 4-0. We have Fields, Stevenson, Brees, Diggs, AJ Waller, Watson, White, Charbonnet, Addison, Dotson. Do I trade Brown, White, Dotson for Pollard, Higgins, Scary Terry? Brown to Pollard, honestly, maybe give me Pollard. White to Higgins, maybe give me White. Dotson to Scary Terry, I mean, upgrade, but I mean, who cares? Honestly, very fair deal. Great team. I mean, if we're looking at this roster, it does need a running back, so I'd probably pull the trigger, but I mean, definitely not like a no-brainer, right? It is up to you there. Now, Louis says, PBR, need help deciding on who to start. 2 running backs and a flex. James Cook, Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Gibbs, Ridley, and Zay Flowers. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to start Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, and Saquon Barkley. Play all 3 running backs. If Barkley misses or Jonathan Taylor doesn't play, we'll pivot to Calvin Ridley. Now, Lorenzo coming out saying, Watson, Bijan, Ramadre, AJ Hopkins, Andrews, Swift. And then on the bench, we have Dalvin, Gabe, Flowers, Hunt, JSN, 12-team PBR 4-0. Any advice? Someone offered me Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith for AJ Brown. Is that a good deal? So when we have when we have Deshaun Watson at quarterback, I would sell AJ Brown for Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith. Then at that point, if you wanted, honestly, we're probably not going to be able to sell Deshaun Watson for anything. I think Watson's too good to actually drop those. So we move Watson to the bench. And the first chance that we get after a massive Watson spike week, then we send Watson in a depth wide receiver like Gabe Davis and go get an upgrade where we can. Okay. Now, Tony says traded DJ Moore or Madre for Etienne and Christian Kirk. Feels bad. Yeah, it looks bad now at this point, my man. It looks bad. Jacob says, I have Kenneth Walker, Saquon, Etienne. I traded Achane and Moore for Diggs last week. Did I mess up? Can everybody spam the chat? 10-team league, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have DJ Moore and Devon Achane or Stephon Diggs? DJ Moore, Devon Achane or Stephon Diggs. Your other running backs are Saquon Barkley, Travis Etienne, and Kenneth Walker. Diggs, more Diggs, more Diggs. Diggs. Looks like everybody's going Stephon Diggs here, my man. Yeah, so nope, I don't think you messed up. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Vader says, 10-team at PBR played against DJ. Oh, brutal. I'm sorry, full PBR, but we're 1-3. We have Hurts, Sanders, Brees, Jefferson, AJ Kittle, Lamb, Javonte, London, JSN, Charbonnet, Ford, Spears, Gainwell. Any moves? Thanks. The thing is, I mean, I don't want to say, do we even care about this week? Obviously, we care about this week. Great team. If we have Jefferson and AJ Brown, honestly, I have no idea how we are 1-3, especially with the Hurts stack. We have Lamb in the flex spot. Obviously, on a 1-3 roster, we're prioritizing production in the short term, not the long term. So if we could go through and if we could trade like Jackson Smith and Jigba and Miles Sanders and go get a running back upgrade, we would. And if I was in your league, maybe you actually could pull that off because I mean, I'm someone that's willing to go out there and I'm willing to pay up for JSN if I'm like 4-0, if I'm 3-1. I think that JSN does have a high ceiling rest of season, but based on what I've seen in the live streams, looks like actually a lot of people are thinking about cutting the guys, so you're not going to be able to trade him for anything. So honestly, brutal spot. Very sorry to see this. From a construction standpoint, love the team. Breece Hall no longer being on the snap count. I mean, I think that he does get the step forward as well, which really need to have one of those other running backs breaking out. Caden says, PBR, would you trade Achane for Waddle and Amari? I would rather have Waddle and Amari over Achane, even though Jeff Wilson Jr. looks like he may not be good to go. So, I mean, may be pumping up Achane here a bit. But real quick, let me go ahead and refresh this so we can keep on bringing up these questions. And as I do this, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match up to $500. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And you will be getting a Tua special pick'em more than less than half a total yard this weekend. On top of that, the Tua one's only if you're new to Underdog, but I got everybody hooked up, both new and old to Underdog. Doesn't matter if you signed up today, tomorrow, yesterday. If you use promo code FLOCK or 2 years ago, you will have Justin Herbert as a special pick'em this next week. So please make sure you are taking advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. But now our next question coming out from, I believe, Owen, who says, CMC Godwin for Chase, Pittman, Kamara, who won? The CMC side. Godwin, Pittman, but who cares? CMC versus Chase and Kamara, it's CMC, definitely. Brian says, currently 1-3 at PBR 12-team league. We have Herbert, Jacobs, Kamara, Zeke, DK, Thielen, Tyler Boyd, Kelsey. Got offered Kupp and Kittle for Travis Kelsey. Should we accept? Ooh, interesting. Wide receivers a little weak for us. I mean, we're rostering DK, Thielen, and Boyd. I would say in the majority of teams, probably no, but specifically with this roster, where we are pretty damn weak elsewhere, I don't know if we can afford to keep on holding on to the elite level tight end. So I do think a move like this makes sense. I would make sure that people know that Kelsey's on the block before we trade him, though. See if we get a better deal. Mark says Zay or Tutu this week. If Zay plays and Kupp does as well, we're going to go Zay. If Kupp does not play, we'll go Tutu. Chrissy says, I mean, AJ Brown, White, Breece for Pollard, Higgins, Scary Terry. Yeah, I think that's what we read it as, right? Oh, no, we read it as Dotson. No, never mind, right? AJ Brown to Pollard, slight upgrade. White to Higgins, up to you. Breece to Scary Terry, massive downgrade. I do it if we can take out Breece and take out Scary Terry. Swine Flu coming out saying 1-3, 12-team PBR format. We started Fields, Henry. Okay, so we're going to be 2-3. Henry, Pacheco, Ayuk, Kupp, Higbee, Boyd, and we have Kupp coming back. Hell yes. Ford, Hunt, Downs, Stroud, Palmer, Austin, Jameson. Who's in the flex and any realistic trade targets? So Jerome Ford was the sell high guy for us last week. I think this week's going to be a lot harder to actually continue to go through and say to sell him. We don't have enough depth to go through and say to sell high on anybody. I do think I honestly would end up going with Jameson Williams over Tyler Boyd in that flex spot, even if you have no T. Higgins. And like I said, I don't necessarily know if we have enough depth to go through and make a trade, but hell yeah for getting Kupp back and for hopefully being 2-3 with the Fields blow up. But TD says full BBR, we have Jefferson, Puka, Nico, and Waddle. Starting Jefferson, who are the other two guys? We're going to go with Puka, and honestly, your call between Nico Collins, Jalen Waddle. You have to start Puka, even if Kupp's going to go. Nico, Waddle are ranked back-to-back in our rankings this week. Most people would tell you to go with Nico. The J Pep says, someone offered me Brock Purdy for Jerry Jeudy straight up. It's a Dynasty 14-team league. I'd probably rather have Jerry Jeudy. If it's a 1 QB format, obviously, super flex, you go Brock Purdy. Now, Brandon says 10-team full BBR double flex from 2-2. We have Mahomes, Etienne, White, Debo, Pittman, Godwin, Kelsey. And then on the bench, we have Elijah Moore, Boyd, Roshan, Michael Wilson, any moves, and out of rank DJ Moore rest of season. We asked everybody in the live chat trying to gauge like a community rankings. It seems like we have them around the Devonta Smith, Chris Olave range. Like, I'd say you probably have DJ Moore right around like wide receiver 8, wide receiver 9, wide receiver 10 rest of season. If we could sell him for someone like Lamb, it's a no-brainer. And great team. We have the Mahomes, Kelsey stack. We're prioritizing running back, wide receiver upside down there on the bench. So honestly, I don't necessarily think that there are too many moves that we're really going to make. I think you have a great construction. Robert says, need to improve the team. It's a 12-team full PPR format. Tua, Taylor, Etienne, Sanders, Tyreek, Puka, Dobbs, Kirk, Dell, Johnson, Waller, Algier, Downs. Any moves? So typically, I don't want to be rostering this many wide receivers and this few running backs. I mean, great that we get JT back in, but we have JT, Etienne, Sanders, Algier. So we have 4 running backs. If we're looking at wide receiver, we have Tyreek, Puka, Dobbs, Kirk, Dell, Johnson, and Josh Downs. We have 7 wide receivers. The only thing I'd probably do is honestly cut one of those wide receivers at the bottom end, like Josh Downs, pick up someone like Tajay Spears, who's an injury away from being someone that we're starting every single week. Okay. LOG says Cousins, Hall, and Zay for Mahomes. Oh, we definitely want Mahomes. Go get Mahomes. Lava says 12-team PPR, 3 wide receivers. Would you trade Tua, Waddle, Olave for Amon-Ra, Hurts, Garrett Wilson? So going from Tua to Hurts, upgrade. Waddle to Amon-Ra, upgrade. Olave to Garrett Wilson, downgrade. Ingram to Jalen Warren, who cares? Yeah, we're going to go ahead. We will take the best 2 players in this deal. We'll go get Jalen Hurts and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Daniel says, a full PPR, choose a running back in a flex. Gibbs, Warren, and Michael Wilson. We're going to go with Gibbs and Jalen Warren in a full PPR format. Gudmay says, Mason, I'm in danger. 1-3, 10-team PPR double flex. We have Stroud, Amon-Ra, Olave, Walker, James Conner, Kelsey, Addison, Higgins. On the bench, we have Hollywood, Jaleel, Warren, Charbonnet. Hunker down or go for a trade. So 1-3, obviously, we're looking to sell long-term pieces and get points in the starting lineup right now. So if we were going to go for a trade, we're looking to see guys like T. Higgins, long-term upside, right? Where, I mean, if Burrow gets fully healthy, if Higgins gets fully healthy, T. Higgins can be great in fantasy. Jordan Addison, long-term upside. But these guys really aren't going to give you anything this week. We really don't want to fall to 1-4. We don't want to fall to 1-5. So I would say, honestly, at this point, it's probably a spot that if you wanted to go through, if you wanted to take someone like Jordan Addison and sit him with Hollywood Brown to go get a stud for the flex spot right now, that would make sense. Tress says, are you trading Barkley for Eckler? That is a no-brainer, yes. And then Mixon for Devon. Achane, honestly, that one's going to be up to you. Obviously, Achane's in a much better offense, but it's hard to project that role for the long term. Gabriel says 10-team PPR. We have Mahomes, Brees, Eckler, Sanders, Amon-Ra, Lamb, Olave, Andrews, Fields, Amari, Higgins, Watson. Rest of season moves. Jesus loves you, bro. Thank you for your help. No, thank you so much, my man. And honestly, phenomenal team. Obviously, if we have Justin Fields, the trade that we are looking to make is we are looking to send like Justin Fields, Miles Sanders, and go get Tony Pollard. Go get Bijan Robinson. Assuming this is a 1 quarterback format, we have Patrick Mahomes. Let's go sell Fields and someone like Miles Sanders, get a true elite level running back. Now, Brandon says 2-2, 12-team PPR league. We have Lamar, Pollard, Kyron, AJ Ayuk, Andrews, Godwin. And then on the bench, we have Tutu, Khalil, Dotson, Charbonnet, Downs. Was thinking of trading Kyron for Gibbs, Ridley for depth. Guy asked for Godwin with Kyron. Not sure what to do. 12-team PPR format, depth will matter a little bit more. We can't think long-term here. I don't know if we go Kyron. We don't go Kyron and Godwin for Gibbs and Ridley, but specifically in a full PPR format where we can think a little bit more long-term because it's not like we're 1-3. We're not 0-4. And depth matters a little bit more. I think, yes, let's go ahead and let's sell Kyron for Gibbs and Ridley. You can't package Godwin with him. Tell the guy you can have Jahan Dotson if he wants Jahan Dotson. Julian says 10-team full PPR format. Cousins, Madison, Swift, Olave, Hill, Puka, Ingram. On the bench, we have Fields, Waddle, Javonte. Just picked up Burrow and Higgins. Looking to trade Fields to upgrade a running back. What tier should we look at? Earlier in the live stream, the trades that we were looking at with Justin Fields, you were going and getting the Pollard range, but you have to package another running back. So if you could send like Madison and Fields and go get to the Pollard range, go get to the Bijan range, that is an absolute no-brainer. Obviously, we do it for Eckler as well, but I assume it's maybe going to be a little bit tougher to do it for Eckler. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Ferris, who says 10-team PPR, where we have Allen, Pollard, Gibbs, Hill, Hawkinson, Cup, Higgins, Palmer, Spears, Pirine, Jaleel. Got offered Swift or Etienne, Flowers, and Stevenson. We need depth. Do we accept? And if so, Etienne for Swift. Full PPR format, I may rather have Etienne over Swift. I mean, honestly, it's going to be up to you. If you think that Travis Etienne could turn the ship around, Wait, so we got offered, but who are we trading away? We got offered Swift or ETN, Flowers and Stevenson. For who? Allen, Pollard, Gibbs, Hill, Kupp, Hawkinson, Higgins, Palmer, Spears, Pirine, Jaleel. I do not know what we are giving up, my man. I'm very sorry, my friend, but I have no idea what we are giving up there. Lucas says, thanks for your hard work, PBR 1 and 3. We have Cousins, Kelsey, Laporta, Pollard, Jacobs, Montgomery, White, Ford, AB, I'm assuming AJ Brown, Allen, Puka, Amari, Thielen, Cousins. People only want my best players, as they usually do, my man. I mean, the thing is, if we have Kelsey and Laporta is expendable for us. I think people will be excited to go through and trade for Laporta. If you could package like Laporta and Puka together and go get to like the AJ Brown, Devontae Adams range, that'd be an absolute no-brainer. Or if you wanted to go like Puka and Adam Thielen and try to get to like Laporta and Adam Thielen and try to go get to like the Chris Olave range or the Devonta Smith range, I'd like that as well. Okay. Mitchell says 10-team double flex. PBR 1 and 3. We have Fields, Pollard, Connor, Kupp, Smith, Goddard, Pittman, Achane, Higgins. Should we trade Connor and Kupp for Olave, Etienne, Myers? So Kupp to Olave downgrade, Connor to Etienne upgrade, Myers, who cares, 10-team league, or Kupp for Walker and Ridley. If you were going to do a deal, you do the second one. But with that being said, I do not think you need to go through and sell Cooper Kupp right now. Especially if, we have the Fields blow up and now it looks like we're probably 2 and 3. It really does depend on what do you expect with Cooper Kupp. If you think Kupp is good to go, you probably hold him at that price. If you're worried, then you probably sell him for Ridley and Walker. Steven says, my running backs are Ramondre Brian Robinson. I'm losing my patience. I want to trade Lockett and Zay for James Cook or for Breece Hall. I'd be fine with either. If you wanted to, let's do it. My receivers are stacked with Kupp, Devontae, Keenan, Tank Dell. Yeah, go ahead and do this. That's not going to be my initial offer I send. Instead, I would initially offer like Lockett and Dell or Zay and Dell. If we could do that, I think that would be maybe a little bit more of a priority. John says, buy low receiver, Jamar, Waddle, Olave, Devontae, etc. Yeah, I would love to buy low on all these guys if we can. I think the easiest guys to buy low on and the guys that I'm recommending over and over again are Olave and Waddle. Johnny says, 12-team PPR, Stroud, Henry, Kamara, Diggs, Chase, Laporta. Need a flex. My two options are Wilson and Wandale. We're going to go Wilson even if it's gross. And is Stroud a good start? Justin Herbert and Palmer on bye. Yeah, Stroud's a decent start if we have Palmer on bye. Obviously, we'd rather have a Herbert in the long term. Now, David says, thoughts on Montgomery, Hall, Stevenson, rest of season, full PPR format. Montgomery, going to crush when the Lions are heavily favored, like this week. I think as the season goes on, Gibbs takes more and more and more. Hall's going to expand his role, and Stevenson's been extremely inefficient and in a very bad offense. Calico says, sent Moore and Achane for Adams last week. We actually looked at this earlier, my man, and the majority of people in the live chat said Adams. Pedro says, having trouble making a trade in the league. Would you trade Puka for Olave and Achane for Waddle or Richardson? So, wait, what? Would we trade Puka for Olave and Achane or for Waddle and Richardson? And also, when do we give up on Lawrence? Probably this week if he doesn't do anything. We don't cut him, but we're definitely, if you wanted to bench Lawrence this week, I'm fine. I think we have him ranked as like QB 12. I think we'd be fine making either deal. I'd probably go for Olave and Achane, to be honest. But yeah, I would definitely sell Puka at those prices. Mitchell says, also could do Kupp and Moss for Lamb and Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson, Moss, kind of up to you. Kupp, Lamb, I think you have a higher floor with Kupp. Higher floor with Lamb, higher ceiling with Kupp. Very fair deals with Kupp. Fundamentally, it just comes down to your thing with what you're expecting. I saw Kevin say that we missed this chat earlier on. My friend, I didn't. I'm sorry it took us a little time to get to it. Here it is right here. 3-1, 12-team standard. This is Kevin Tran. Just make sure I know you thought we missed your live chat. We did not. 3-1, 12-team standard PBR. We have Hurts, Chase, Smith, Jacobs, Kyron, Hawkinson, Godwin. And then on the bench, we have Myers, White, and Njoku, Dotson, Reed, Akers. Any moves? Jacobs and Chase scaring me. Jacobs leading the NFL in receiving yards at the running back position, my man. I don't think you need to be worried about Jacobs here. Chase, obviously, a little frustrating with the Burrow injury. I think, honestly, you sit on your hands. I think long-term, this team's just going to get better and better and better. Obviously, we do need a fully healthy Joe Burrow, though. Like, if we get a fully healthy Joe Burrow, we are going to be in a very comfortable position with Jamar Chase. It's just going to take a little bit of time, and we're 3-1, so we got time. Now, Domo says 10-team 4-point passing touchdown. I get Anthony Richardson and Stroud at quarterback, plus Nico Collins, my best receiver. Should we trade Richardson for a better running back or keep him? I need a running back bad. I mean, depends on the price point. Obviously, if we can get a great running back like ETN, then sure, let's do it. But I think we would try to send out CJ Stroud first. I see Bart now in the chat saying we missed his chat. No, we did not, my friend. Yours is in 2. But we're actually going to have to refresh here so we can continue to bring these up. So give me 1 second as we refresh this so I can continue to show them to you on the live stream. And as I do this, please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match up to $500. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be getting a Tua special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard this weekend. If you are new to Underdog with code FLOCK, and it doesn't matter if you're new to Underdog or been on Underdog for 2 years, as long as you use promo code FLOCK, you're also going to be getting a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard next week coming out of the bye week. Super pumped that I'm able to get you all that, so please make sure you take advantage. Now, Brent says, happy BR team is Love, Lawrence, CMC, Kyron, James Cook, Brees, Waddle, Puka, Mari, Tank Dell, Dobbs, and Evan Ingram. Any thoughts? Was offered Cousins and Jonathan Taylor for Brees Hall. Honestly, I think that this is the exact deal we look to make. Sell Brees for JT. JT has more upside long-term with his offense. And we get Cousins a play over Love. Great team. It makes it even better after this trade. And yeah, I'm seeing everybody in the live chat saying that we missed their questions. Like Patrick now saying I missed his question. Your question, I can see it right now, is in 7 questions. I see Bart saying we missed his question. This is your question right here. I go in order. We just slide up the screen. Everybody sees it. I'm not going to miss your question. Every single person in the live chat that has said I've missed their question, it has taken me about 2 minutes after they've said that I missed it to just slide up the screen and eventually get to it. So please do not be spamming the chat. I missed your question. If you super chatted, promise you I'll get to your question. I'll be up until 6 in the morning if I have to. Bart says, 10-team standard, give Aaron Jones, Pacheco, and Nico Collins for Stephon Diggs. 10-team league, hell yeah, depth not going to matter as much. Obviously, this is under the assumption that we have great running backs that we can rely on a week-to-week perspective. Now, we're not going to do this if all of a sudden then at running back, we're going to have to go through and play Miles Sanders at RB1, right? But I mean, assuming that you have great running backs, then sure. And it's 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Okay. So, 6 Craig coming out saying, 10-team non-PBR, we have Hurts, Brian Robinson, Barkley, Chase, Amon-Ra, Kmet, Pittman, Stevenson, Pierce, Ertz, Fields, Ridley, Kyler. Any moves or just chill. Super flex format, we're just chilling. If it is a 1 quarterback format, my man, we are going to go ahead and we are going to cut Kyler Murray. Definitely not want to roster 3 quarterbacks unless he's on your IR. If he's on your IR, you are chilling. And then if you have Jalen Hurts and it's a 1 quarterback format, my man, Justin Fields would be someone we're looking to sell, especially in a non-PBR format. We'd love to go get an elite level running back. If we go send like Justin Fields when we have Jalen Hurts and like Michael Pittman to go get Tony Pollard, go get Bijan, go get Eckler, I think that'd make a lot of sense. But obviously, under the assumption it's a 1 QB league. Chimo says sent Nico and DJ for Henry and Watson yesterday, RIP. Can everybody spam the chat? Who would you rather have? I don't necessarily think this is a horrible trade, my man. Would y'all rather have Nico Collins and DJ Moore or Derrick Henry and Christian Watson? Spam the chat right now. What direction are you going in there? Nico Collins and DJ Moore or Derrick Henry and Christian Watson? Okay, Nico, Henry, Nico, Henry, Nico, barely, Nico, Henry, Nico, Henry. Yeah, so it does look like it's split 50-50. I'm not saying that I would easily rather have Derrick Henry. I think that's kind of is what it is, but it's up to you. Jared says, friended Ridley, Lawrence, and Connor for Purdy, Zay, Rashad. Was this vetoable? My friends were livid, but let it go through. Lawrence to Purdy In my mind, it's a downgrade, but it just, is it clear collusion or not? Not clear collusion, that move. Connor for Rashad White, not clear collusion. Ridley to Zay Flowers, I would rather have the Jags side of it, but no, it's not clear collusion. So no, it's not vetoable. I'm not saying it's a good trade, but it's not bad enough to veto. Visual coming out says 1-3 standard 10-team league. We have Kirk, Keenan, Olave, Saquon Pollard, JT Andrews, and then on the bench we have Ridley, Waddle, Thielen, Addison, Jaleel, Roshan Spears. We lost Nick Chubb. Any moves? Getting JT back in is really going to help. I mean, no, your team is great, my man. I understand why we are 1-3. You lost Nick Chubb. Saquon Barkley had an ankle injury. Jonathan Taylor was on the IR. Going forward, this team is so strong. We freaking have Ridley and Waddle on the bench. You're going to be just fine. Honestly, if Saquon and JT are good to go, then at that point, I think we can even afford to go trade like Ridley and Cousins and go get an elite level quarterback. Joseph says, at BBR, play 2 out of these 3, Gibbs, Addison, and Ridley. We're going to be going with Ridley. Gibbs, Addison's tough. If I'm going to go ahead and pull up my flex rankings here, my man, we have Gibbs 52. We have Addison 55. So I think it is up to you between those two guys. Patrick coming out saying 10-team BBR, drafted Jefferson, Olave, Waddle, Andrews, 1-4. Wait, what? Oh, rounds 1 through 4. Okay, my friend, I'm sorry. Traded Hollywood and Laporta for Lamar Jackson. Great move. My running backs are Jones, Swift, JT Montgomery will be much better going forward. Thinking I could trade away some of the depth at running back for a star RB. And also, which running backs do we start? Great team, great move, my man. Love to see it. Love the Lamar Andrews stack. I mean, we have Jefferson, Olave here as well. Jefferson, Waddle, Olave. Crazy that we drafted 0 RB and we still have Jones, Swift, JT, and Montgomery. Honestly, we're not going to be selling any running backs until we actually see Jonathan Taylor out there on the field producing, until we see Aaron Jones out there on the field producing. I think this week we will be starting we'll be going David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift. I would love to throw Jonathan Taylor there in the flex as well if he does play, but Montgomery and DeAndre Swift, they have great matchups. Or at least Montgomery has. Swift has an okay matchup, and obviously we've seen the production. And then if JT plays, we put him in the flex. Now, Omar coming out says, should I trade Kupp and ETN for Tyreek Hill? I think it's a fair deal, and it comes down to what your risk assessment on Cooper Kupp is. Obviously, it's super hard for me to know what's going to happen. Kent coming out says, rank Achane, Mixon, Aaron Jones, Swift, Gibbs, rest of season. Swift probably at the top, then I'll say Achane, Mixon, Aaron Jones all in the same tier, and then maybe Gibbs right below, just because Gibbs not going to give you anything in the short term. Obviously, long term. By the time we get to week 14, Gibbs could be RB2 on this list. Joshua says, hey, Mason, made some changes from the last time. It's a 12-team BBR league where we have Allen, Jacobs, Mixon, Chase, Godwin, Ogginson, Walker. Now we're 2-2. Any changes we should make? Thank you, Go. No, thank you so much, my man. So looking at this, I mean, you have an elite level tight end. You have an elite level quarterback. We have running backs, wide receivers with upside. Honestly, I don't think we change anything here. The only thing I'd say is make sure when we have like Allen and Hawkinson, we're rostering as many running backs with upside down there on the bench to try to find the next Karen Williams. Now, King Record says, Allen, Hall, Swift, Chase, Kirk, Laporta, London, Atwell, Algier, Ford, Musgrave, Williams, Wilson, Dobbs, White, Taylor. 12-team league, 1 quarterback to double flex, 0-4 and play DJ. Oh my gosh, my man. If we are 0-4 and play DJ Moore, we are shooting for the highest ceiling possible this week. You play Josh Allen, you play DeAndre Swift, you play Jonathan Taylor, you play Jamar Chase, you play Christian Kirk, and you play Breece Hall. Brutal spot to be in, my man. I'm so damn sorry to hear that. Now, Kevin says, at BBR 8-team league, made this trade pre-Thursday night. Thoughts on DJ Moore, Evans for Ramadre Amari? Oh, nobody's taking Ramadre Amari there now. Have a Monroe Cup, so thought a running back was needed. 8-team league, the thing is, like, Ramadre Stevenson's not going to move the needle. Like, if you could have gotten to, like, Jonathan Taylor, then yeah, that would have been interesting. Like, Ramadre Stevenson in the 8-team format with how inefficient he is, especially in a half PBR format, it's just not the running back we wanted to move for. Okay. Now, CC Clip says 12-team at BBR format. We have Lamar, Diggs, Debo, ETN, Montgomery, Moss, Ferguson, and then on the bench we have JT, Kupp, JSN, Spears, Reed, Bigsby, Debo with a running back for an upgrade to Tyreek or Pollard or Andrews. First fantasy season, love the flock. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you for being a member of the flock. If you could send, say, Deebo Samuel with David Montgomery and go get Tyreek Hill, we would do it. If assuming it's a one flex league where we have JT and Kupp coming off the bench, where we have so much depth here as well, if you could send, say, Deebo and you wanted to go get Andrews, you wouldn't be packaging that much with him. It'd be more like Deebo and Zach Moss, Deebo and Jake Ferguson, and go get Andrews. We would do that deal as well. I really like the idea, though. Now that we are having these players back in, this is the time we're looking to sell some of this depth for an upgrade. Now, Ty coming out saying, 1-3, 10-team league, 1 quarterback, 3 receivers, 1 running back, a tight end, 2 flexes. We have Fields, Diggs, Lamb, Puka, Brian Robinson, Hawkinson, Pacheco, Flowers. And then on the bench, we have Higgins, Evans, Dak, Sanders, Elijah. Who do I trade to get Mahomes and Kenneth Walker? Okay. If we could send, say, Fields, Pacheco, and a wide receiver. If you could go Fields, Pacheco, or Brian Robinson, I'm just assuming we're going to get more for Pacheco. Fields, Pacheco, and Puka for Mahomes and Walker would be interesting. I don't necessarily know if we would need to do it, but if we could go, I think our initial offer would be Fields and Pacheco combined with Evans, Higgins. Say, hey man, I'll give you Fields and Pacheco for Mahomes and Kenneth Walker, and your choice of T. Higgins and Mike Evans or Miles Sanders. Tell him he can have anybody off your bench as well. And then if he says no, but it's close, then you think long and hard about it and see if you would want to include Puka instead of one of those other guys. Now, we can actually swing this to the other screen here. So give me 1 second. Our next question coming out from Tomsky. It says, traded Montgomery and Tank Dell for Waddle and Raheem Mostert. How did I do? My running backs are JT, Rashad White. My other receivers are Jefferson, Judy, and Jameson. Dell to Waddle, massive upgrade. Montgomery to Mostert, downgrade. If this is a full PBR format, I like it. Because, I mean, Mostert's actually getting some positive news regarding, like, Jeff Wilson Jr. Maybe not. It's, like, good to go right now. Fugly says, should I try my best to sell Puka since Kupp's back? We were saying to sell Puka, I mean, for the past few weeks for guys like Devonta Smith, Chris Olave. If you can do it, I personally would, but keep in mind, I've been wrong about Puka every step of the way. Tanner says 1-3, 18 PBR league. We have Burrow, Love, Jones, Pollard, Walker, Chase, Moss, Olave, Walker, Ayuk, Thielen, Kirk, Waller, Ferguson. Do I trade Pollard, Kirk for JT, Nico, and the Cowboys DST? Typically, I'm not looking to trade for, defense. Obviously, Cowboys is a little bit of a unique situation. Christian Kirk to Nico Collins is an upgrade. Pollard to JT is a massive downgrade, though. I honestly probably wouldn't do this. If we could, instead of trading away Tony Pollard, like trade away Kenneth Walker, I think that would be very interesting, my friend. Sleep Deprived coming out says 10-team at BBR. Need a running back 2 and a flex. We have Kyron Pacheco, James Cook, Zay Flowers, Nico, and Andrews. Running back 2, Kyron Williams. Flex will be your call between Nico Collins, James Cook. I probably go James Cook. And then obviously we're not going to be playing Andrews there. Anthony says, traded away Thielen and Dobbs for DK. I like it. I would look to flip DK and see if we can get to the Waddle range. GS coming out saying, traded Mostert, Lamb, and Higgins for Eckler, Waddle, Rasheed. What are your thoughts? We have Burrow, Saquon, Gus, Kittle, Roshan, Boyd, Shaheed. Okay, so honestly, these guys at the bottom end are complete trash. I'm assuming this is a deeper league overall. Mostert, let's go Lamb to Eckler, upgrade. Higgins to Waddle, upgrade. We traded Mostert to get it done. I think it's a fair deal, and I like going out there and I like quote-unquote overpaying for Austin Eckler at this point. I actually like Eckler more than I did going into the season. Now that we're getting the injury discount, and at the same time, you have the Williams injury. Now, Mike says, standard 1 flex, Bijan, Puka for JT, Kamara, Amari. My team is Bijan, Pollard, Puka, Olave, Collins, and then on the bench, we have Johnson, Palmer, Boyd, Warren, and Jaleel. Bijan to JT, massive downgrade. You're taking on all the risk for no extra upside. Puka to Kamara, kind of up to you. No, we can't do this. Keep Bijan Robinson. I think ultimately, at least, of course, I need to admit, Hogan Lawrence, I am very biased with our guy Bijan, but I do think that we are taking on a lot of risk for not a massive bump in upside. Domo says 10-team full BBR starting Anthony Richardson, Alexander Madison, Pacheco, Collins, Watson, Ingram, Hollywood, Quinton, CJ, Roshan, Javonte, Atwell, Palmer, Sutton, 1-3, and I desperately need to make some moves. So if we're 1-3, we're looking to sell long-term upside for short-term production. We don't really have any long-term upside that we can sell here, though. Would really like to upgrade over Madison at running back with Akers having to roll. If you could sell like CJ Stroud and package him with like Alexander Madison and go get a running back upgrade that way, that'd be very advantageous. I mean, obviously we don't know if we could, though. Now, Colin says 12-team full BBR format, single flex. We have Burrow, Dobbs, Jacobs, Swift, Montgomery, Kyron, Keenan, Ayuk, DJ, Dobbs, Kelsey, Laporta. Weekly lineup rest of season and any moves. The clear trade is if we have Kelsey and Sam Laporta, we are going to look to go through and we're going to look to see if we can sell Sam Laporta with another player in the starting lineup to get an upgrade. I can go Sam Laporta and Brandon Ayuk can go get CeeDee Lamb. That make a lot of sense. And as it stands right now, how I would project this lineup out is most likely like DeAndre Swift, Josh Jacobs, or DeAndre Swift, Montgomery. This is a team with... Honestly, this is a team as well when we have this kind of running back production because I don't even know if we can get Kyron Williams into the lineup here. You probably need to sell Kyron Williams and Joe Burrow and just solve the quarterback position and go get someone that we're super excited about right now as well. Just because we can afford to do it. We have super strong running backs, super strong wide receivers. Wide receiver, we're going to be planning on going Keenan Allen and then probably DJ Moore at this point. And I do want to go ahead and play running back at the flex spot, assuming we don't make any moves. Now, Chance says 10-team single flex, PBR double flex. We have Tua, Etienne, Gus, Ridley, Olave, Hawkinson. In the flex, DJ Moore, Nico. Bench, we have Madison, Javonte, Khalil, Michael Wilson, Mims. Any ideas for a running back? Yeah, so we definitely like a better running back too. Interesting call to play Gus Edwards over Khalil Herbert. I mean, I would actually play Alexander Madison over Gus Edwards as well. I agree. It would be very nice to upgrade running back, but in reality, in terms of actually going out there and making a trade to do so right now, I don't see one that makes sense. Specifically because this is that double flex full BBR format where wide receiver depth is going to matter a little bit more here, my man. So I actually probably look to sit on our hands and just roster as many running backs off the waiver wire as possible and try to find like the next Kyron Williams. But yeah, very well-balanced team for that format in particular. But the Eddie says 12-team PBR single flex. We're 4-0. We have Hurts, Bijan, Montgomery, Waddle, Moore, Hawkinson, Pittman, Collins, Jameson, Stroud, Judy. Should I be selling high and trying to upgrade at wide receiver? So, I mean, if you are sitting here with DJ Moore, my plan was to tell people to sell him for Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave after this game. But honestly, very hard to say that now based off what just happened. What just happened? If you could take like CJ Stroud and DJ Moore and go get to CeeDee Lamb, go get to Devontae Adams, go get to AJ Brown, that's a no-brainer. If you could take DJ Moore and Jerry Jeudy and go make that same deal, we would. It's a phenomenal team here. But yeah, it's much harder to go through and say to sell DJ Moore for like Chris Olave, which was, we figured that DJ Moore in this dire offense was just going to have a good game because specifically how bad this Washington defense is. But, I mean, the initial plan was to say to sell for Olave after a good performance, and it's hard to say that now. Prohibit says Love or Stafford. We will go Love over Stafford, my friend. Thomas says, should we trade Gibbs and Godwin for Puka? It depends on your team. I don't necessarily think Puka's like a top 5 wide receiver going forward whenever you have Cooper Kupp coming back in. Now, DBG says pick 5, Kamara, Brees, Montgomery, Achane, Aaron Jones, Flowers, Lamb, Chase, Puka, and Ayuk. So we have 10 total players. You have to play Lamb, Chase, and Ayuk. Have to play David Montgomery. And then there, it's kind of up to you. If it's a non-PBR format, I'd probably go with Devon Achane. Make sure you for sure bench Zay Flowers. But in that last spot, if you wanted to go with Achane, Aaron Jones, or Brandon Ayuk, it is up to you. Just please make sure you play CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Puka, David Montgomery. Montgomery, phenomenal matchup this week. And then Achane, Aaron Jones, Brandon Ayuk, up to you. I probably do bench Zay and Brees Hall, even if Brees Hall also is in a great spot. Jonathan says 16-team PBR, trade away Etienne Ridley for Eckler. Did I overpay? 10-team league, love it. 16-team format where depth matters a little bit more, probably a much harder trade to get by. I mean, I don't necessarily want to say you overpaid though. But real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we are one like away from hitting 1,400 likes on this live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. We have live streamed every single day since April. We've live streamed 160 days in a row at this point. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match up to $500 on Underdog Fantasy. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers, and a Tua special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard this weekend. If you are new to Underdog Fantasy, that's what you're going to get. But also, doesn't matter if you're new or old to Underdog Fantasy, we got everybody hooked up with a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard. You're going to get that regardless if you signed up with code FLOCK today, yesterday, tomorrow, 2 years ago. We're going to up everybody with that next week. Now, Diali says 1-3, Fields, Amon-Ra, Hill, Cook, White, Ramadre, Goddard, DJ, Elijah, Jameson, Roschon, Johnson, Gino. Started DJ Moore and Justin Fields. Hell yeah, so we're 2-3 here. Honestly, after this, the only thing I'd say is if you could take, like, say, Jameson and Justin Fields and go and trade them for Mahomes, Allen, Hurts. I still probably look to do that, but not something I'd say something you have to do if you can, honestly. LeBron says trade Gibbs, Lawrence, Olave for Henry, Fields, Ridley. So Lawrence to Fields upgrade, a Gibbs to Henry upgrade, Olave to Ridley downgrade. You probably do it. Yeah, you do it. Okay. Madness coming out says 12-team full BBR format, 4-0 starters. Okay. We have Herbert, Mixon, Swift, Adams, Diggs, TJ, Montgomery. And then on the bench, we have Dobbs, Connor, Moss, Tutu, Godwin, Henry. I'm trying to get rid of Moss and Tutu. Any thoughts? You're not going to get anything for him. I mean, you should have traded Zach Moss last week, if I'm being honest. Tutu Atwell, honestly, with Kupp coming back, I don't mind if you just cut the guy. Or that being said, if you can trade him for anything, you do. If you can go sell Tutu and, say, Romeo Dobbs and just get back like someone like, say, Mike Evans, then let's send it. Just in reality, you have to have super low expectations. I think it's a phenomenal team, my man. I mean, in terms of making any trades here, I don't necessarily see too much that we're looking to do outside of maybe going, and if you can sell Dobbs and Moss for an upgrade, let's send it. If you can sell Dobbs and Tutu for an upgrade, let's send it. If you can sell a Moss and Tutu for an upgrade, let's do it, especially as we look at the depth with this team. Just in reality, I mean, from what I've seen in the live stream, I'm not seeing anybody go through and trade for these guys. Okay. But Adnan coming out says 10-team PBR, 3-1. We have Allen, Pollard, Gibbs, Hill, Kupp, Hockenson, Higgins, Palmer, Spears, McGoughlin. Got offered Swift or ETN, Flowers and Stevenson for Tony Pollard. Definitely not Flowers and Stevenson. Keep Tony Pollard here, my man. Especially with how loaded this team is. Oh, okay, I got you. No, never mind. It'd be Swift, Flowers, and Stevenson. You said you need depth. I like Swift's playoff matchups. So we have Pollard, Gibbs. If this is a double flex format, I'm fine with you going ahead and making this deal. If you want Swift, Flowers, and Stevenson. If it is a double flex format or a league where you start 3 wide receivers. If it is a 10-team format where you start 2 wide receivers and 1 flex, there I think it would be much tougher in my mind for us to go ahead and justify selling the best player and justify selling Tony Pollard here, my friend, if I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm going to be honest. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from Sidekick, who says, just want to thank you, Flock. Thanks to you, I started DJ Moore, Sam Howell, Major Explosives. Hell yes, my man. Super, super happy for you. I mean, honestly, I didn't rank Sam Howell that highly. I mean, maybe you asked me a question earlier in the stream and I said Sam Howell, which I'm assuming that's what happened. But yeah, I don't want to act like I was super, super high on Sam Howell this week. And then we had Sam Howell's QB 18. I wish we had him higher, obviously. David says, I'm 1-3 in a 10-team full BBR format, 1 flex. Rosters Anthony Richardson, Isaiah Pacheco, Hall, Diggs, Amon-Ra, Kupp, Andrews. We have Achane, Lawrence, London, Myers, Zay, any roster moves. So here we're in a very comfortable spot now that we're getting Cooper Kupp back in and Breece Hall's no longer going to be on a snap count. If we could somehow, some way send like Drake London and Isaiah Pacheco and go get a long-term running back upgrade, that'd make a lot of sense. I will say, still want to be starting Devon Achane over these other running backs, my friend. I don't know if you just typed it out this way just because you don't really care, but I would be looking to do that. I'd probably be looking to start Devon Achane and then most likely Breece Hall. Then all 3 wide receivers. Throw Cup in the flex if he does play. But great team. Really, the only thing is like send in Pacheco and one of those running backs for an upgrade. But Jared out again, my man. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and make you a moderator on the channel. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. I mean, if you see someone spamming the chat over and over again, you can tell them, hey, man, knock it out. They don't, you can put user in timeout. But you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. But 1 and 3, 12-team at BBR. Howell, Amon-Ra, Devonta, Kamara, Achane, Goddard, Watson, Madison, Tank, Edwards, Roschon, Gainwell, Deontay. Moves to upgrade running back or wide receiver or stay put. So our top 2 wide receivers are Amon-Ra, Devonta Smith. Our wide receiver 3 is Christian Watson. Top 2 running backs are Kamara, Achane. Our running back 3 is Alexander Madison. And then beyond that, we have Tank, Edwards, Roschon, Gainwell, Deontay. So if we could go out there and if we could upgrade running back or wide receiver, I would really like to, my man. But the reality of the situation is we just don't really have the firepower. We don't really have the ammo to go through and make this deal. Like, we don't have someone down there on the bench that someone's excited to trade for, right? I mean, obviously, I can just come out here and say, oh, yeah, man, once we get Herbert back, let's sell Sam Howell. Let's go get an upgrade, package in Sam Howell, one of these running backs. In reality, nobody's going to trade you for Sam Howell, right? At least I'd imagine. If you somehow can, let's send it. But I'd imagine you're probably sitting on your hands until we get Deontay back. King says 1 for 1, send Connor or Cook for Pittman or Wilson. I probably would rather have the running backs. I mean, if you were going to do a trade, you would send James Conner you'd send James Conner before you'd send James Cook, though. Okay. Now, and thank you so much, my man, for being a member of the flock. And Gary says, what receiver should we trade Mixon for? Should we trade him for Garrett Wilson? Probably not. I mean, I know they have a good matchup this week, but ultimately it's still a horrendous offense. Even if Zach Wilson looked decent against the Chiefs last week. If you're selling Joe Mixon, I would want to get to the Olave. If you can sell Mixon for Olave, I mean, you know that's who we're saying to go get every time. Eric says, would you give up Andrews for JT? I'm hesitant to. Really, it is up to your personal preference and your appetite for risk. I think that Jonathan Taylor has higher ceiling than Mark Andrews. If I had like Sam Laporta, I'd be fine pulling the trigger. But, I mean, that's because I'm willing to take on a little bit of risk. But King Mendez says, hey, Mason, 12-team full BBR format. What would you do with the team? We have Lawrence Watson struggling at quarterback. These guys I thought had a lot of upside coming into the year. CMC, Kamara, JT. Oh, now we get JT in and Kamara in. Phenomenal spot. Zach Moss, Algier, Olave, Waddle, Dobbs, Elijah, Reed, Ferguson, and Musgrave. I understand. You don't show us the record here. I would imagine that this team has been very bad so far because we've had very bad quarterback play. Waddle's been very disappointing, dealt with a concussion. We've had no Alvin Kamara. We've had no Jonathan Taylor. But now that we are getting Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor back in, now that we have Waddle back in, I do think that Waddle and Olave will be better going forward. I think that Lawrence will be better going forward in comparison to where he has been. I think that honestly, there's not much we need to do with this team. Jake Ferguson looks like a viable play at the tight end position as well. I don't really see a trade. I mean, I would love to say, oh yeah, let's go take Moss, let's go take Williams, and let's send him with Romeo Dobbs and go get a stud wide receiver 3. I think that would be the easiest thing to do, but in reality, I don't know if that would be possible to do, if that makes sense. Now, Domo de Regato coming out says, should I package Stroud and Madison for ETN? Oh, hell yeah, I would love that, my man. If we go Stroud Madison for ETN, go Stroud Madison for Swift, I think that would make a lot of sense. I just assume it'd be hard to do. Nick says 14-team BBR league with 1 flex. We have Burrow, Russ, Jacob, Saquon, JT, Ridley, Hill, Smith, Laporta. Traded Hill, Montgomery for Hill, Saquon. I don't exactly know I don't know how we traded Hill and got Hill. I would rather have Saquon Barkley in a full BBR format over David Montgomery. It's a very tough spot to be in, of course. Saquon does have the receiving usage. Now, Montgomery's in a much, much better offense. Montgomery is fully healthy. But ultimately, if we're looking at the workload, especially as a receiver as well, I do think that I would prefer Saquon over what we have with David Montgomery. So yeah, I would do it, my friend. I would do it. Now, Jack says, I have Puka, Kupp, Ridley, Diggs. Do I just go Kupp and Puka over Calvin Ridley? And if I go Ridley, do I go Puka or Kupp? You go Kupp and, you go both of the Rams players. If Kupp plays, you go both of them. Yeah, but bench Ridley there, my friend. Itty Bitty South City says 1-3, 14-team at PBR. Started DJ Moore. Hell yes. And Logan Thomas. Oh my gosh, that's great. Chase, Smith, Dotson, Rice, Kyron, Achane, Brees, JT, Najee. We need a receiver, 2 running backs, and a flex. So we just need some players with some high floors. I mean, our wide receiver, we're going to go Jamar Chase. He's Jamar Chase. Our running back, we're going to be going with Kyron Williams with the guaranteed workload and Devon Achane as well. And then for the flex, I probably go JT if JT plays. Either JT or Devonta Smith if we're chasing the high floor here. I think JT, if he does play, is going to get the guaranteed workload. So yeah, great team. I mean, going 2-3 now, getting JT back, getting Brees expanding his role, getting the Achane breakout. You're going to be in a really good spot going forward, especially as Burrow gets healthier and bumps Chase. Jaden says, Aaron Jones and Brees for Pollard and Brian Robinson. If it is a shallow format, give me the best player, give me Tony Pollard, even if Brees is expanding his role. Danny says, pick 2, Wilson, Aaron Jones, Pittman, or Adam Thielen. I'm going to go with Aaron Jones and Michael Pittman, even with Garrett Wilson in a great matchup. Nick says, traded Chase Montgomery for Hill Saquon. Oh, okay, it makes a lot more sense, and it's even a better deal. Yeah, Montgomery to Saquon, I'd probably rather Saquon in a full PBR format. And then Chase to Hill is a no-brainer. Give me Hill. Logan says, is this fair? I trade Ayuk, Dobbs, and Pierce for Stephon Diggs. I would go ahead and do it. If it's a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, give me the best player, give me Diggs. Dill coming out says, A Mason 12-team non-PPR league. Starting lineup this week, Allen, Achane, Jefferson, Smith, Moore, Kelsey. Hell yes. I'm looking at package Smith and Gibbs or Smith and Connor for a wide receiver upgrade. Who should I target? So I actually think that Gibbs will continue to expand his role as the season goes forward. And I would say in a full BBR format, I think that Jahmyr Gibbs is actually an intriguing trade target if you can get him at a super cheap price, which right now he is going at a super cheap price. However, in a non-PBR league, probably a spot where it doesn't make too much sense for us to go through and for us to hold on to Jahmyr Gibbs because you just want him for his receiving volume. So if we could go Gibbs and Smith and go get to like Devontae Adams, I think that'd make a lot of sense, my man. Like Smith and Gibbs, if you can go get to Devontae Adams, maybe, yeah, I guess in a non-PBR format, even like A.J. Brown. Like I do like Gibbs, the player, it's just in a non-PBR format. The man's not going to do anything for you. Still like him in a full PBR league, though. Now, James says 12-team PBR 2-2. We have Lawrence, Amon-Ra, Ridley, Judy, Mixon, Etienne, Waller, Hall, Amari, Elijah, Deontay, Ford, Spears. What do you think? Impressive that we're 2-2 with the Lawrence Ridley stack. I mean, obviously, Lawrence has just been tanking for us. We're all in on the Jags. I like the team. I like the construction. It just comes down to one thing. We're living by the Jags. We're dying by the Jags. If Lawrence can turn the ship around and we get that bump from Etienne, we get that bump from Ridley, we're going to be in a great spot. If Lawrence continues to be a bad quarterback, I mean, I don't say bad quarterback, but just Lawrence not great, then we're going to be stuck in the middle of the road. But Cole says, 10-team PBR 1-3 start. We have Mahomes, Jacobs, Pierce, Chase, Pittman, Puka, Kittle, Hollywood, Watson, Rashad, Wilson, Ford, and Palmer. Chase for Olave and David Montgomery. 1-3 start. We need production right now, not later. However, this is a 10-team format where we aren't necessarily incentivized to build around depth. I understand Chase is more like a long-term player at this point, as crazy as it sounds. I mean, I still think that he's a wide receiver 1 for the short term, but I'm saying like, obviously it's going to get better as the season goes forward. I would hold on to Jamar Chase, even on a 1-3 build. Now, Nico coming out says 12-team PBR traded Fields, Kirk, Olave for Jalen Hurts, Brian Robinson, Zay Deontay. We also have DJ Moore. Did I win that? And what should we get for DJ? Honestly, I'm not going to sell DJ at this point. So Fields to Hurts, upgrade, massive. I don't say massive, but definitely an upgrade. Give me Jalen Hurts over Justin Fields. Way to sell high on Justin Fields. Olave to Brian Robinson and Zay Flowers. I think we're downgrading. Give me Olave, Christian Kirk to Deontay Johnson. In the short term, give me Christian Kirk. In the long term, maybe give me Deontay. So I think it's a lateral move. I think it made sense to go get Jalen Hurts here. I don't like the fact that we had to trade away Olave to do it, but you have to do what you have to do. And then honestly, I think we probably hold on to DJ Moore unless we can send like DJ Moore, like Deontay Johnson, and go get like Devontae Adams. Now, Gregory coming out, happy to see him, my man, says 12-team standard 3-1. Just traded Kyron Williams for Tua. We have Walker, Henry, Taylor, Herbert, Algier, Spears, Chase, Olave, Judy, Pittman, McLaurin, Waller, Musgrave. We have Watson at quarterback. What do you think we should do? So now we have Tua that we can start at QB. And running back, super strong now that we're getting Jonathan Taylor back in. I mean, wide receiver, we're strong at the top end. I think these depth guys are going to continue to get better as well. I mean, if we were going to do something, I mean, my default would be, okay, well, at this point, we have quarterback locked in. We have our running backs at the top end that we really like. We have wide receivers at the top end that we really like. It's a 10-team shell of formats, so typically tight end's actually going to matter here. Let's go ahead and let's take a depth wide receiver and let's go send him with a tight end to go get an upgrade. Where in reality, nobody's trading for Darren Waller right now with how bad this Giants offense looks. Nobody's trading for Jerry Jeudy. Nobody's trading for Terry McLaurin. So if you could send maybe like, I don't even want to say, if we could send like Pittman and Waller and go get like Kelsey, of course we're doing it with throwing Khalil Herbert. If that gets the deal done, we'll throw in Deshaun Watson. We'll go send all 4 of those players to get it done. It's probably going to be much easier. It's probably not going to happen, right? And that's the tough spot because the prototypes of the players that we would want to sell right now with this builds aren't producing. So the other people in our league aren't going to want to trade for those players. So we probably have to sit on our hands. And I'm sorry to say that, my friend. Sidekick says, I do have a question. I have Palmer Johnson on the roster, but someone dropped Javonte. I have Ayuk, DJ, Puka, Deontay. Do I drop Quentin Johnson? I would probably rather drop Joshua Palmer, even if Palmer has the role now, and Quentin Johnson's the long-term upside shot. But yeah, you definitely have to go get Javonte Williams to drop one of these wide receivers. I mean, if you have Ayuk, DJ Moore, Puka, I don't think you're going to be starting Palmer anytime soon. So I'd rather have Johnson for the long term, to be honest. Johnny says 12-team PBR where we have Stroud, Henry, Kamara, Diggs, Chase, Laporta. I need a flex. My 2 options are Wilson, Wandale. We actually answered this for you earlier, my man. We're going to go Michael Wilson. And is Stroud a good start? Yes, he is, with Justin Herbert on the bye. I'm very sorry if you missed our answer earlier. Yes, Stroud is a good start this week. And we are going to go Michael Wilson over Wandale. I mean, this Arizona Cardinals offense has actually been much better than we were expecting. Jordan says, who's the wide receiver 2 in the flex out of Puka, DJ Waddle, and Evans? We're going to be going with Puka and DJ Moore at this point. I can't say Waddle after what we just saw. Jake says, drafted Anthony Richardson after getting Jalen Hurts with the intentions of trading. Just traded Puka and Anthony Richardson for Amon-Ra, feeling damn good. That is awesome, my man. And honestly, fair deal, too, for the team that went out there and traded for Richardson. Damo Darigato coming out says, if I can't get any bites on that trade, should I switch Anthony Richardson with Stroud and go for Swift? Making the trade Anthony Richardson and Madison first. I would rather trade. I got what you're saying now. It's a much closer deal. It's a much harder one to say. I think that one kind of does come down to your personal preference. By no means is that a no-brainer. I would at least first try to get to some running backs that you see a tier ahead of DeAndre Swift. It is just tough because Anthony Richardson does have that like borderline top 5 QB upside locked. I don't want to say locked in, but it's close. It's close. Now, Chris says 14-team PBR, giving Kamara, Gainwell, Mims for Mixon or Ramadre. Should I accept? Kamara to Ramadre. Let's go Kamara to Mixon, lateral move. Gainwell and Mims to Ramadre, clear upgrade. I think we are going to go ahead and make this trade, my friend. I mean, I understand in a 14-team format, depth is going to matter a little bit more where we don't want to be giving away too many players for an upgrade in the starting lineup. But ultimately, Gainwell and Mims aren't even startable, right? So we're giving up 1 starter for 2 starters in a 14-team league. Let's do it. Now, Jared says 12-team full BBR format where we have Mahomes, Mixon, Gibbs, Hollywood, Pittman, Kelsey, Hopkins, Sanders, Spears, Miller, Michael Thomas, Higgins, Mims. We got Gibbs, Hopkins for Jacoby Bryan Robinson. Any moves? Got offered Adams, Laporta for Kelsey and Pittman. Myers to Hopkins, up to you. Lateral move. Full BBR format, I would rather have Gibbs over Bryan Robinson. I really like that. Kelsey to Adams, lateral move, up to you. Pittman to Laporta, lateral move, up to you. Honestly, that second deal, I think, is up to you. I probably keep Travis Kelsey. The reason being is we are sitting here currently with Patrick Mahomes. I understand wide receivers maybe is a little bit tough. I could go back and forth on that second trade all day, my man. Wide receivers not great for us, but we have the Mahomes Kelsey stack. I mean, can everybody please spam the chat for Jared? He's out here every single night with us. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have the combination of Travis Kelsey and Michael Pittman or Devontae Adams and Sam Laporta? Please spam the chat. And as we wait, Roberto says, it's my birthday today. Gift was playing DJ Moore. Happy birthday. Also, everybody go to the chat and give Roberto a happy birthday. Hell yes, my man. 12-team BBR, we have Mahomes, Walker, Achane, Hill, Pittman, Higgins, Waller. On the bench, we have Akers, Gibson, Warren, Moss, Reed, Jameson. Should we trade Ford for Myers or Tank Dell? Ford was a sell for us last week, but honestly, at this price, we actually kind of talked about this in the video today where we opened it up saying, I mean, a Ford sell high for us last week, this week, you can't do it just because you're not getting nearly enough. And yeah, you need to go ahead and you need to hold on to Ford at this price, my man. But I really like the team. I think it'll be better than 2-2 going forward. Okay. So hopefully Jared, the live chat, was able to help you out with that question because I just don't know. I don't know. Okay. Now, our next question coming up from Eric says, what's up, Mason? Pick one, Kirk or Jaleel? I'm going to go Christian Kirk if it's a full PBR format. Jonathan says, 10-team full PBR. Running backs are Jacob, Stevenson, Moss, Hunt, Javonte, Herbert. Do we make any trades to upgrade? We have Amari, Nico, Hollywood on the flex/bench. If we could go send Hollywood and Ramondre Stevenson and go get a running back upgrade, that would be very advantageous. Like if you could somehow send like Hollywood and Ramondre and go get to like the ETN, DeAndre Swift range, I would love that. And also if you would just look to sell Ramondre straight up, maybe for someone like Breece Hall who's expanding the role now. Wombly says a fair price for Fields and Amon-Ra. If you're trading Fields for Amon-Ra and you're looking for a receiver in return, you're looking for Jefferson. I view Amon-Ra St. Brown as like a mid wide receiver one. So I'd want an elite wide receiver one. Eric says, what's up, Mason? Pick one, Kirk or Jaleel? I actually know he just answered that. I apologize. Our next question coming out from, I believe, Chase says 16-team PPR, 3-1. Congrats, my man. Looking at 4-1. We have Herbert, Saquon, Henry, Pittman. Okay, we have DJ Moore and Komet, so we are 4-1. Debo and Taylor coming back in. Do I go after Tyreek with DJ Moore? I would. 16-team format. Super difficult to make 2-for-1 deals. So we are making 2-for-1 deals. I mean, we are going to be offering significantly less than like a 10-team format or like a 14-team league. But if you could go through and possibly send like, say, DJ Moore and maybe Michael Pittman per se and go get Tyreek Hill, specifically with your team being loaded like this, I think we would look to do it. But obviously in that 16-team format, I mean, just making 2-for-1 deals would be a little bit less advantageous when those, options off the waiver wire are significantly worse. Cole says, is there anything I should be going out to get? We're 1-3 in a 10-team PBR format where we have Mahomes, Jacobs, Pierce, Chase, Pittman, Puka, Kittle, Hollywood. And then on the bench, we have Watson, White, Ford, and Palmer. I don't necessarily think so. We are going to be waiting until we get White back from the bye. Then I think we feel a lot more comfortable about our running back room. We just don't have that much depth, right? I think Christian Watson will be much better going forward. I think you have a very well-balanced team. Love that we have Mahomes here. I know that we're 1-3, but we had the Christian Watson injury. We've had Chase disappointing because of Burrow. And really what this team also needs is we just need George Kittle to be better. Like, can we get a spike week soon, George Kittle? Rich says 10-team double flex full BBR trade Garrett and Dell for HN and Zay. I do not value Dell that highly, so yes, I would go get HN. My only running backs are Bijan and Swift, especially if our only running backs are Bijan and Swift, where we have that wide receiver depth. I think it makes a lot of sense, my friend. But it looks like that should be about it for the questions. So, of course, if you have not done so already, go down there, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, I know a lot of y'all would like Brandon Ayuk for more than 56.5 receiving yards. You can find that link in the live chat, find it in the description, find it in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK will get you a 100% deposit match up to $500 on Underdog. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. We're getting a Tua special pick'em this weekend, more than less than half a total yard. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter if you are new to Underdog, old Underdog, as long as you sign up with promo code FLOCK. Next week, you will also be getting a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard. We're getting that for people who signed up today, yesterday, tomorrow, or even 2 years ago. Doesn't matter when, as long as you signed up with code FLOCK, you're also going to get the Herbert special pick'em, more than less than. Super happy I'm able to get y'all that, so make sure you take advantage. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate you. Really hope you have a great day. Great night now. It's almost 1 a.m. And I hope I get to see you in the live stream tomorrow night.